be a chance you get more maximum money because you're bidding to try to get each game out there.
I think the way
it depends. If you got 4 clunkers this year, then you get less money next year.
I think the way...
Are you a gambler?
I mean, I got to see the matchups. You can't see the matchups before you bid.
I think the way to maximize your money is what the NFL does, is you get heavy hitters involved and you rotate the championship game. Fox has it one year, CBS has it one year, NBC, ESPN. That's the way the NFL does it to maximize their money, is you give everybody the crown jewel on a rotating basis. I don't think anybody's got a problem with that.
Little programming change for you. Bud Light Game Night, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Not on Thursday night this time, because we're going to do a Thursday afternoon to give you a chance to come hang out with us daytime, lunchtime. We'll be at Walk-Ons over in Hoover, right?
Yeah, what is the name of the...
Stadium Trace.
Stadium Trace.
Yep.
That is it, where we had our Walk-Ons kickoff party.
1:30 to 2:30 on Thursday afternoon with our friends at Bud Light.
We'll have some great Bud Light specials, so make sure you join us. We'll have some giveaways. It'll be a lot of fun, but it's going to be, as you say, unique. We'll be we'll be doing 5 hours on Thursday. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, so come hang out with us Thursday, 1:30 to 2:30 at Walk-Ons out there at Stadium Trace, and you can come send us off as we head down to Floribama again for a Friday show and a Saturday for Army-Navy, another wild weekend at the Floribama, which we'll document on social media. With a little T. We'll keep you updated on that all weekend long. All right, fun show today. Thank you for being with us. Remember, like, subscribe. Overtime's coming up. Anybody know overtime? What is
Bama
it?
and Bourbon.
Bama and Bourbon. Little Aaron Suttle's coming up in overtime. And then we're back with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live Daily Show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
You've been wearing that thin, raggedy t-shirt for years now, and people cannot stop whispering and staring in your vicinity. We've all been there. Luckily, there's a solution to your lack of fashion and social cues. At NextRound.store, they have plenty of options when it comes to a variety of shirts and hats. Once you start putting that Next Round gear on, be prepared to make new lifelong friends and hundreds of unforgettable conversations. Hope you like random high fives in the street, because that's what you're getting after visiting NextRound.store.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live Daily Show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Make sure to start your day at nextroundlive.com. Get caught up on the latest podcasts and videos from the live daily show, plus specialty shows such as the Mystery Fifth Hour. You can also learn more about the whole staff at Double Down Media, find all of our social media feeds, see the latest videos from our YouTube channel and gaming channel, plus find other ways to consume the show like the Next Round mobile app, which you can download direct from the site via your iOS and Android device. Make nextroundlive.com your homepage and stay up to date with everything from us here at the Next Round.
The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes in Cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. A $247 value for just $89. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live. Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Developing portal news we'll get to coming up. Basketball continues with some great matchups. The road to Pasadena starts to heat up, and a ton of other stuff to get to over the next 3 hours as we settle into show number 591, counting down to 600 here on the Next Round. Jim Dunaway with Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Rockstar producing the show. Back row, full again today. Lunsford, Tyler, and Forrester, Taylor Korn, and Emily Grace McWhorter out there in the command center. When it comes to our social platform, remember to give us a thumbs up, like, and subscribe there. Still some fallout from the college football playoff selection.
You don't anticipate that stopping anytime soon.
I don't know when it stops. It ultimately will. I brought this up yesterday. 2014 Ohio State controversial getting in. Once they won it, nobody said anything. I dropped little man off at school today. I didn't want to torture him with having to listen to sports talk. So after I dropped him off, I turned on, and Dusty and Danny were still on. And all they could talk about was how the seeds were planted by Herb Street and the evil ESPN. And Dvorak actually took some shots at ESPN, and he is employed by it.
That check cashes for him, man. That's crazy. Are you serious?
Yeah, I mean, they weren't bad shots. He was like, look, I know this is my company, but that just ain't right. It just ain't right.
What are they saying is not right?
Yeah, I mean, just somebody giving their opinion?
Yeah, I mean, that's what these guys are so influential. They shouldn't be talking about how bad the product is. They're supposed to give their opinions.
Yeah.
Their job is to comment on the product.
Well, they think there's an ulterior motive.
Well, the conspiracy theorist would tell you next year, ESPN, ABC take over the SEC top to bottom.
I mentioned this off the air. I'll say it now.
Say it now.
Worst timed commercial of all time.
Or was it the best time?
Or depending on if you're in Tallahassee, you thought it was the worst time commercial of all time. They go 15 minutes setting up the release of the college football playoffs on Sunday on the show that everyone was watching. They take that commercial break. The last commercial that runs is a promo coming in 2024.
Yeah.
The SEC to ESPN and ABC.
That was bad timing.
Welcome back.
Yeah. Let's see who gets in.
Let's see if the SEC's left out.
Florida State players are sitting there staring at that. Yeah. God, we'd love to be in the SEC.
So that plus what Klatt brought up on the show yesterday, that these first-round games are still out for bid. And if you're trying to maximize dollars, you know what you do not want? You don't want clunker games. I mean, that's just business. I mean, if you're trying to maximize what you get for the first-round games, you don't want it to say, now, wait a minute. I've always heard the New Year's Day lineup when we play Rose, then Sugar, is the best possible ratings for you guys, which it always has been, right?
That's right.
And look at that rating. My gosh. Well, the game was 35-3. Well, I mean, it's still the rating. The rating is what the rating is.
What do you think they're trying to get for one broadcast?
God, I couldn't tell you.
I can't even begin to guess.
The way Klatt talked about it, I mean, so Klatt talked about how insane the money was.
Yeah, I've seen the number, and they're way overestimating the worth.
Okay, so
but think about what Fox is about to pay for the Big Ten. And apparently people at Fox are looking at the number they're asking for the first-round games like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Well, do you guys know the loose number on what CBS paid this final year for the SEC and what 14 broadcasts?
I think, Lance, now see, the SEC had the greatest value in all of sports.
Right.
I think they were paying $55 million.
$55 million is the number I was working with.
I think $55 million is what they're paying. But to put that in perspective,
roughly $4 million a game.
Oh yeah,
right?
It's the greatest value in all of sports. Yeah. You got. I mean, do you know how many at the end of the year when they do the top 10 games? You know how many of them are CBS games? Probably half.
Yeah, and to your point yesterday on social media, that number came in for the SEC championship, and you made a point about what CBS was paying for this number,
right?
And didn't want to pay and what they are paying for the future in the Big Ten.
Yeah, they're paying more than 3 times, 4 or 5 times, I guess, that number, and they don't even get the first pick in the Big Ten every week.
Are we estimating this might be a $20 million per game, $25 million?
Oh, I bet it's
more than that.
It's more than that. I mean, you got to think about it, Lance. So that's 4 games. So what number would make Fox executives recoil enough that it's filtered down to Klatt that this number is out of sight? I mean,
And like Brown pointed out yesterday, the scenario for these 4 games next year on campus is likely one Friday night game and then each of the TV windows
on Saturday. Yeah.
Now, does it have to be a network? I'm just throwing this out.
Oh, you're talking
there.
about like Amazon streaming? I think they'll take the best money.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, what if somebody like, let's say, one of our great sponsors like Bud Light had their own YouTube channel and said, "Look, we'll pay you $25 million for this," and it's just going to stream on the Bud Light channel.
It's not the worst idea.
I think it'll go north of that, the 25 million.
But I mean, that
yes.
principle, that concept isn't the
you
worst
think about it,
idea.
all you do is hammer Bud products the
That's
entire
right.
broadcast and leading up to it.
And you've got a captive audience.
What you would get, and I think you guys will agree with me, like it's always going to be Staples Center for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Like once you get that brand,
I'll tell you this.
Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
Google's Maps. Yesterday, Brown and I were planning out some of the L.A. trip, and it still
Are we
says
going back to Compton?
It's still. I did ask Brown that question.
Only by accident.
Staples Center is still on Google's Maps.
Oh, it still says Staples Center? Did it say Crypto.com Arena or whatever it is?
Staples.
Well, you know what my house is on Google Maps? Gutter Kappa Birmingham.
Is it really?
That's a long story, but yeah, it is.
But, to your point, like, for a very long time, my dad would ask about, when do Arkansas and Ole Miss play Saturday? When does Alabama play so-and-so Saturday? When does Auburn play so-and-so Saturday? And if I'd say 11 o'clock, he goes, "Oh, they got the JP game?"
Yeah.
I think he'd been off JP for years before my dad quit calling it the JP game.
I really think a massive conglomerate could cash in on one of these games.
Because then, you know what you would
really
call
think
it? You call it, we're in one of the Bud Light games on campus.
Yeah.
I guarantee you. It's not the worst idea.
You guys are probably too young to remember this. No, you're not. You were alive then, because I think it was the 90s. The Fiesta Bowl was not a major 4 bowls. It was not one of the 4 major bowls.
Not to win.
They bought their way into it when they bought that first national championship.
Yeah, it was Miami and Penn State, right? 1986.
No, so it was in the 80s.
Yeah, it was 86.
It was 86, and they basically just said, "What would it take for you guys to come out here?" And they negotiated a number. That was back in days of independence. Both those were independent programs, so they had no conference tie-in. So they could go wherever they wanted in bowl games. And they just negotiated, why don't you just come out here and play for the national championship?
I think Miami were they not Big East, and Penn State was independent back then? Or maybe both were
No,
independent?
Miami, I think, was still independent.
Yeah.
I think.
If you had an affiliation, if the NCAA, they used to have a problem with beer sponsorships. So back in the day, you couldn't have done this if you were Bud Light. If they didn't have a problem with a sports book, I'm telling you, Caesars or MGM would cash in doing something like that.
Yeah.
They really would.
According to the Florida State folks, the sports books probably should just sponsor the selection show.
No, but
Since it
think
was
about it like
fixed
this.
anyway.
What you could do is your commentators could be saying right now in game the number is. Go to our app. You can bet this right now.
Have you listened?
Player props.
Have you listened to any game, any sport on ESPN since they started ESPN Bet? They're doing
That's
that
all they talk
left
about?
and right.
Well, guess what? I've become a regular on ESPN Radio on Thursdays because of ESPN Bet.
Yeah. I will
So
tell
I have
you.
to endorse the in-season
MyBookie.ag.
tournament for the NBA is great.
Yeah, no, I was riding home. I was with Brown, and Fitzy was doing the ACC championship game, and he's like, ESPN Bet right now has the Iowa over under at 0.5, guys. That he'd given an update on that game, and he's like, would you guys take the over or the under?
Oh,
on
yeah,
that?
yeah.
And they
Coming
were
back-
doing they were doing the ACC game.
Yeah, that was right in the middle of the game. They go down. Would you take the over or under? Boy, I think I'd have to take the under on that
Yeah,
one.
ESPN has gotten so lax. Ian is comfortable enough on air talking about how he used to book in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, Fitzy
I
Bet.
would have paid to watch that.
Let's get into some sound and some reaction of what's going on the aftermath of this college football playoff selection. Eventually, the teams will start practicing, and we don't think Florida State folks will ever get over this selection. And I'm not going to tell them how to grieve, but I will tell you that our friends at the Pants Store can get you ready for the holiday season. Then we'll hear from Brian Kelly and talk about politicians in Florida. The Pants Store can be your game day headquarters, but also perfect for this holiday season. Alabama and Auburn game day polos, hats, and quarter zips. Choose from famous name brands like Gentile, Cutter and Buck Antigua, Elephant Head, Taylor and Mick, and a lot more. Ladies, all your rompers and skirts there as well. Pantstore.com, pantstore.com from anywhere in America. Pantstore.com. Our 6 locations: Auburn, Crestline, Hoover, Leeds, Tuscaloosa, and our friends up in Huntsville. Here's Brian Kelly. Earlier this week, they talked about their bowl selection. He lost to Florida State to start the year. He lost to Alabama later in the year. Brian Kelly on the committee's decision.
Look, we played Florida State and we played Alabama. 2 outstanding football teams. But the 2 football teams were different at the end of the season than they were at the start of the season. So I think that from my perspective, unfortunately, Florida State was not the same team earlier in the year than they were later in the year because of the injury to the quarterback. And look, you can take that for whatever you want, but if only 4 of the conference championship teams can go, and there's 5, you're splitting hairs because they're all great teams, but only 4 can go, and there's 5 conference champions. And I think the committee had to figure out if you're going to sit one of them out, maybe it's got to be the one that lost their quarterback. Again, I don't know. I certainly didn't sit in there, but I can see where they came from with the decision that they made.
A reasonable thought.
Very logical.
yeah.
I mean, look,
Brian
Brian Kelly's an intelligent guy.
He's getting killed for this?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nobody's getting killed for this. I'm
Okay.
just setting the table.
I got you.
Oh, I'm sure he is. Though.
Yeah, I'm sure Florida State fans didn't like
Just
it.
setting the table for Ron DeSantis,
Oh.
presidential candidate, governor of Florida,
Yeah.
saying that the state of Florida is going to set aside $1 million to help with the lawsuit against the College Football Playoff Committee. There are other Florida politicians who have said, don't throw your records away. We're going to subpoena your records, your phones, your texts, your cells, and
Such a
all that.
waste.
So here's my thought, and then you guys give me your thought.
How about clean up Panama City first?
No, that's where I'm going. Okay?
Okay.
Here's my thought. Well, number one,
Panama City.
Number
first.
one, if you want to help Jordan Travis, help lower the cost of insurance and medical costs. If you're a Florida politician, if you want to help Florida State students, lower the cost of education, help them that way. If you want to help the state of Florida, lower the cost of everything, whether it's gasoline or milk. Stay out of football and do your jobs. That's my advice to you.
But it's such political grandstanding, and he told on himself because the tweet, I know he didn't send it out, somebody in his staff sent it out, said that he was setting aside $1 million basically out of the budget as basically a fund for potential litigation against the NCAA for leaving out Florida State.
to cover the cost.
To cover the cost. Of all the stupid stuff the NCAA does, and we could go the rest of the show and tell you stupid stuff the NCAA does, they are the one entity that had nothing to do with
Nothing.
this.
That's right.
In fact, the NCAA would have loved to have made that decision. That means they're making all the money off the college football playoff, which they are not.
What Brown is saying is, remember, all the championships in college sports controlled by the NCAA except Division I football.
Division I football. So, Lance, he told on himself that this is just some sort of political grandstanding to get votes if he has to be governor of Florida again or if he wants to be president. This is just political grandstanding. And he told on himself because they didn't even bother to do the homework on who they would actually be filing litigation
Well,
against.
also, you are splitting contingents here because Florida State makes up what percentage of the population of Florida as far as fandom?
I don't know because you think the University of Florida love that decision.
I'll pretend I'm a politician. I think it's about 32%.
You might be right. The quote was, and this is so ridiculous, my first grader, my fifth grader, and my preschooler, they're all Knowles. And they're big-time fans, and they do the tomahawk chop, and they're not happy. We are going to set aside $1 million and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah. By the way, James is right. DeSantis is in Tuscaloosa tonight
right.
for the Republican debate that'll be broadcast live somewhere because Megyn Kelly is.
Oh, no.
You didn't know that?
Yeah.
No, it's just amazing timing.
I know.
I mean, he's eating dummy sandwiches. I mean, know your room, right?
Here's the DeSantis tweet that was sent out there. $1 million for the litigation to exclude undefeated Florida State football. NCAA's poor decision.
NCAA's poor decision. You're telling on yourself that you don't even know what you're talking about.
And that's what would scare me if I was his campaign manager. I mean, you got to at least know what you're doing before you send this information out.
Is this not the campaign manager's
Yeah,
job?
that's-
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying we look like idiots now. We
Right.
don't even know how this works. I'm going to trust you guys with the nuclear code?
Yeah, well, there's no way DeSantis. I seriously doubt he's got his own Twitter account, right?
No,
Yeah,
that's
no,
exactly-
somebody else typed that out. But that's my whole thing. They just told on themselves it's nothing but political grandstanding.
Nor do I expect presidents to make their own decisions, right? They got a team around them that sort of help them with their decisions.
Well, we know nobody's making a decision right now.
Well, there's a team, I guess. Somebody.
Well, I'm saying we know an 82-year-old's not making a decision.
Yeah. So it's insane to get politicians in this.
Jace wants to know if we're doing Bud Light debate night before the debate tonight over at the Houndstooth.
Hey, we could do it.
That would be good, right?
You pay, we travel.
My bookie is President Trump in this thing, Rockstar? Do you know?
I heard Megyn Kelly was trying to get him to come.
Yeah.
Well,
He's
who's
ready to
there
go.
if President Trump's not
It's
there?
all the other candidates other than Trump.
Wow.
How many we got right now? 16? What we up to?
I mean, do they have enough hotel rooms?
I refer to them as the group of 5. They're not real playoff
If this were
contenders.
President Trump and President Biden, I would do Bud Light debate night because that would be an amazing debate between those two.
Pre-game and post-game?
Yeah, I'd do pregame and postgame, no doubt about it.
All right, so that's the what is going on in the aftermath of the decision eventually, and as all the Alabama players have told us as they've come on, a few days off for them, they're handling the finals this week, and then they will get eventually back to football, and we'll have our usual folks on tomorrow, right?
Our guy Hardison, yes, our usual Thursday lineup. Our guy Hardison, Jonathan Hardison, Fox 6, just texted me. He's on his way now.
For the debate.
He's doing Bud Light debate night.
Can't get there too early.
That's right. Hardison going to get a good spot, isn't he?
Will Hardison be on the inside? Like
I'll ask him. What do you want to know? Just what he's doing?
Well, I'll go full Hamilton on you. Will he be in the room where it happens tonight?
I mean, I doubt he's going to be on the curb.
Well, I mean, sometimes it's limited inside the debate hall who's inside, and sometimes the media is kept outside.
So
Other
I'm-
media, if you
yeah.
didn't pay to host the debate.
So I'm guessing, to your point, if President Trump isn't there, there's a really good reason. These people, these are the groups of 5,
So
right?
if this was in your backyard, would you walk out there?
Absolutely not, Lance. I'd ask him to hold it down. So I
Hold
can
it
take
down. The show being brought to you by Odie's and our friends at A+. First Odie's, LT.
Would you ask Nikki to iron your shirt?
Sweetie, give me another
That's
sweet tea.
cakes. Hey, before you get up on that podium, 2 locations of Odie's. Rockstart is Wednesday. That means
That is, oh, God. Trivia.
Odie's Team Trivia. A lot of people are having Christmas parties this week. Come out and join us before or after at Odie's. Get some of the great food from Rodney Davis, the award-winning wings, delicious burgers, the incredible chili. It's all right there at Odie's. 2 locations, the original in Crestline, one now in Homewood on the corner of Broadway and Oxmoor. Get in, see Will Aver and that great staff. It's Odie's Tavern.
All right, so Hardison says it's Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Chris Christie, and the guy whose name I cannot say. Do you know how to say his name, Rockstar? Does anybody know how to say his name?
I do not. I know who.
Wow, yeah.
I know who he is.
Swami.
Swami.
Yeah. He's got some good ideas.
Ramaswamy.
but,
Yeah, he's out there. He's got some good
Got some
ideas.
interesting ideas. I'll put it that way.
Some
yeah.
good, some crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know Chris Christie was still going for this thing. My
Yeah.
God. This is what, number 4 for him?
I mean, take a hint, right?
Just keep going to games.
Well, Biden's been running since, what, 88?
Well, I know, but yeah, I guess it did finally work out for him, right?
So it's only 4?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it looked like it was a crowded stage.
Well,
last time I saw
I
it.
think most people have looked at the polls and like, am I really going to invest this kind of money and effort into this? Am I really going to fly to Tuscaloosa, freaking Alabama?
Yeah. Too bad Herbstreit's not doing the pre-show. We'd know who was going to win the debate tonight just by looking at his helmet. By the way,
Trump.
I appreciate all you guys yesterday going back and checking and confirming that was the real picture. That was not Photoshopped. So I was totally wrong about that yesterday. I appreciate everyone sending the
So
emails.
it was Photoshopped?
in the DM. It
No,
was
it's
not
real.
Photoshopped. That was real.
So those are the helmets he had before the announcement was made.
Yeah, but you heard Cladd say that he noticed
Yeah,
it.
Cladd said he saw it. That's what swayed me. I mean,
too.
I was not going to go back and look. I was just showing you what the
I
conspiracy
can't believe
theorists were
one of the
saying.
3 of us didn't notice it
Yeah.
because we were sitting there watching it.
Well, it was on 3 TVs.
I remember looking at it and thinking about it, but I didn't think that was the order it was in. I thought I saw Oregon and Ohio State somewhere, but apparently I did not.
So when you've got the ESPN getting all the SEC, you've got that.
And Herbie taking a little jab.
You've got the bids that are open. I mean, if you wanted to build a conspiracy theory, if you wanted to build one, you do have a platform, you do have a foundation to build one off of, don't you? Like, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist guy. We have fun with them on the show, but I don't believe most of them.
No, you believe JFK was
No, I'm anti-conspiracy. To me, the conspiracy is that Oswald shot him. I think
I think the
truth is-
conspiracy's
I like
anti.
how you reverse it.
Yeah, you did. You did
truth
reverse
is-
it.
You
I think
guys don't think we landed on the moon.
No. I think the truth is somebody other than Oswald.
Now, do you
killed
think
him.
we landed on the moon?
I do think we landed on the moon. I think the Earth is round. I think we landed on the moon.
I think the Earth is round. I don't know about the moon landing. I think James Sr.'s got mad on this one.
Yeah.
Stanley Kubrick, hell of a director.
I just know how important it would have been politically for us to actually stage that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was huge, and probably still is to this day huge.
I just don't think.
I watched the Sylvester Stallone documentary last night.
Yeah.
Talking about Rocky IV.
Yeah.
And I mean, outside of the moon landing, was Rocky IV not the next biggest thing for the?
How many that and Winds of Change by the Scorpions? I mean, those are the things that brought down communism.
And the 1980 Winter Olympics, right?
How many? Yeah.
Yeah, and
What if all this is just staged?
Wolverines. What was that movie?
Red Dawn.
Red Dawn.
I mean, that was huge back
So
then.
what if all that was just staged, like the United States winning the 1980 Olympic hockey?
We paid the
We paid the Russians off. Like, communism sucks for y'all. This will help you get out of it.
Here's a few extra rubles.
Here's a few extra rubles.
Did we
for you
know
on the way
Al
home.
Michaels before, or did he come out of nowhere? Was that his first call?
He was just along for the ride. He had no
He
idea.
was in a gulag in
No,
Siberia.
He was actually doing bad college football games on ABC.
Yeah, that
Is
was his
what
coming out
really
party,
made-
right?
Was it really what made him?
Yeah, like the fall before
Do
that.
you believe in miracles?
That fall before that, I think he did a Alabama something game. Like it wasn't even national; it was a regional broadcast of Alabama and somebody. 100%. I think he did Clemson, South Carolina one year too.
He turned the corner.
Yeah, but if all of that, Scorpions Winds of Change, Red Dawn, Rocky IV, the moon landing, all that was just to bring down the Soviet Union. It was completely staged. None of that ever even really happened.
Well, it is odd that we landed on the moon way back in the day. We stopped doing it early in the 70s, and no other country has claimed to have landed on the moon and come back.
That's what is so weird to me. I mean, obviously it was a difficult landing.
Yeah.
If we decided never with the technology now to never go back.
It seems like it'd be easier now than it ever has been.
Yeah, it seems like it would be. And wouldn't it be a big coup for like China to do
Well,
it
no,
right now?
for
or-
Elon Musk,
or
like Elon
Japan
Musk
or anybody.
Elon Musk has got a bottomless pit of money. Like
for
if he
Florida,
decided,
for DeSantis to go up
Yeah.
there and plant a Florida State flag.
that's right. We made it to the moon, couldn't make it to the playoffs.
Oh, is that really on the moon? There's no shadow of the Florida State flag. When we come back, Connor.
Can you imagine the Indian sticking the spear down?
it just
flaming
floats
flag.
off. Dadgummit.
There you go. There goes another one.
When we
Damn
come back-
Americans.
Connor O'Gara joins us from Saturday Down South on the other side. He's got an interesting destination for all the major players in the portal, and we'll talk to Connor about everything else going on in college football. As I was saying, the show being brought to you by our friends at A+ Browning.
A+ style home remodeling. Jim, you know what is not staged? My bathroom. That's real, man. And Scott shows you these photos.
Technically a staging area.
Yeah, when Scott shows you these photos, this is not Stanley Kubrick in action. This is my man Brad Bell in action. A+ style home remodeling. That's who did my master bath. Listen, when you remodel your home, the where you get your money back, Master Bath and Kitchen, Master Bath and Kitchen. Scotty is showing you photos of our original bathroom when we bought the house. We just didn't like it because it was white. We liked the darker tones. It needed updating. So my wife scoured the internet. She found old Brad Bell, A+ style home remodeling. She talked to contractors, people that use certain contractors, read reviews. She selected Brad. I'm glad she did. His crews did amazing work. They were on time every day. They worked their tail off. They were courteous. They were clean. I mean, everything you would want. And the job got done right, and it got done quickly. You can use Brad as well, 205-422-1758. That is his number. I'm giving you a cell number. Anywhere in Alabama, he can help you out. 205-422-1758. If you miss any of this, reach out to me. I'll be happy to hook you up with Brad Bell. A+ Tile Home Remodeling, 205-422-1758. Connor O'Gara talks football next.
You can't ignore the elephant in the room. Watch it at Roll Tide Pods on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Ryan Brown here for the next round with a question for you. Are you on the bandwagon yet? Bandwagon wants to invite you to one of their 3 retail locations in Birmingham for all your holiday shopping. Bandwagon has the top brands in sporting goods, athleisure, and lifestyle apparel. You can check your entire family off the list at Bandwagon with brands like Task, Bird Dog, and Varley, plus the best in sports equipment. Visit the Bandwagon locations in Cahaba Heights, Homewood, and Trussville, or online, bandwagonsports.com. Next round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon. Hey, Ryan Brown here from the next round. Do you want to help pay for my kids' college and look great while you're doing it? You need to go to the Next Round store. Everything from hats to short sleeve and long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, and much more. And we're adding new things all the time. Why would you not want to see my kids get a great college education and look great out in the public while you're doing it? Get the gear we wear all the time on the show, and there's only one place to get it. NextRound.store. That's NextRound.store.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at Hydra Live Therapy. IV therapy treatments are packed with nutrients to increase energy, reduce stress and anxiety, and boost your immune system, and more. If you mention the Next Round at checkout, save 20% off any service. You can join the IV League today. Members are rewarded with deep discounts. Make sure you ask about that. Hydra Life Therapy open 7 days a week. Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters, it's the will to prepare to win." Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that's right for you. Stop by one of the 7 Central Alabama locations today or give them a call at 1-855-4-BRYANT to begin preparing for your financial future today. You'll find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about. Bryant Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
Rolling back in, 2 things to tell you. Number one, walk-ons tomorrow for Bud Light game night, but it's a day version of that. It's like we're on the road playing the Cubs in the middle of July. It's a day game for Bud Light game night because we're doing Bud Light game night at walk-ons at Stadium Trace, 1:30 to 2:30, because we have an early out. We're heading to the Floribama to do our show live on Friday and Saturday. With our Army-Navy tradition with military veterans who joined to watch the game down at the Floribama. So that is happening tomorrow, Bud Light game night. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Day version, 1:30, 2:30 at Walk-On Stadium Trace. Then we're in the vehicles on our way down to the Floribama, celebrating the Army-Navy tradition there with our folks at the Floribama coming up this weekend. The second thing I need to tell you
Number
is
2.
Yesterday when I hastily threw together my perfect college football playoff committee, I didn't have anything about mama, trains, and getting drunk.
Yeah.
I noticed. Or Connor Aguirre.
That's a good line, Dunaway. That's really good. So I rewrote this.
So I rewrote the committee, and I put Connor O'Gara in there, Brownie.
I was drunk the day my mom got out of prison. All right, Connor O'Gara is with us. Connor, do you know that song that we're referencing there?
God, I wish I did. I really wish I did.
You're not a big David Allen Coe guy?
I can't say that I go back that far. That's got to be before 1990, right?
Oh, God,
yes.
It is the most sang drunk song maybe in the South in history, as I put a lot of disclaimers on there. But it is.
Wait.
But
I think it might be.
And LT has now performed it, I think, 3 times live on the Floribama stage.
Twice and one time family tradition.
Okay.
That's true. Yeah, I forgot.
Wait, I got a question for you. Friends in Low Places. That's
It's
also got to be up there. Like that was the last song at our wedding was Friends in Low Places, and I can tell you plenty of people north of the Mason-Dixon were drunkenly belting that one out too.
Okay, that one's closing fast. Okay,
that is 1990, by the way. So that's his mark.
Yeah.
The other one probably had like a 15, 20-year head start on that one. So a lot of 2 decades of drunkenness before Garth released that one. So closing the gap. It's like Alabama closing the gap on Michigan on all-time wins.
Yep.
Do we count that though? Can we go back and find the most egregious Michigan victories when they're playing against a hardware store in a high school and they're counting that towards their total of 1,000 wins? Like everybody always talks about the egregious Alabama national championships. I want to talk about the egregious Michigan victories that were counted as like 94-0 against these 6 people that they picked up from the local lumber yard and said, we're playing a real football game, because they definitely did that.
Wait. No,
wow, I never knew this. Connor's teaching me something.
Oh, yeah. Come on. You don't remember Shoelace Johnson of Alabama beating Birmingham YMCA 24-3.
No, he's talking about Michigan, though. I don't care about Alabama. I just didn't know Michigan did that.
Alabama's got a few of those, too.
The University of Chicago used to be in the Big Ten. We learned that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, they used to fly the flag.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the University of Chicago is an original Big Ten school. One of the biggest regrets in the city's history is that they no longer have a Big Ten team, despite what Northwestern tries to tell you on all those billboards.
Wow. All right. Before we talk college football playoff reaction, let's do this backwards because the portal's flying around. You got a great story at Saturday Down South where you sort of take, 10 quarterbacks and 10 destinations. You try to pair them up here. So give me the one you're most interested in and you feel confident he's going to end up there, and let's walk through some of these.
Well, how about the one that just happened? The one that just happened 20 minutes ago, Brock Vandegrift going to Kentucky. Yeah.
That's where quarterbacks go to die.
There's no doubt.
I'll push back on that. And yes, very biased because of the doppelganger 100%. That's definitely impacting this explanation. But the Will Levis thing still worked. I mean, go back to what Will Levis was at Penn State, a guy that James Franklin said, oh, you're going to be our starter. We're going to have you run the ball like 25 times in a game against Nebraska. And we don't think you can actually throw the football. And then turns out Will Levis is actually pretty much a pro style quarterback with the things that he does. And he's already starting for an NFL roster. So I'd push back on the notion that it didn't work. Devin Leary didn't work because Devin Leary didn't work. It didn't work because it wasn't necessarily the things that were around him. The scheme was there. Like if you watch Kentucky this year and go back and watch that Georgia game, like the amount of missed throws that guy had. And that was a guy that I was very high on, but coming off of the pec injury that he had, the very rare surgery performed by Dr. James Andrews, who has never performed that procedure on a quarterback, I think that definitely had something to do with the player that he was, or rather the player that he wasn't. So Brock Vandegrift, he is Southern Will Levis. Like this has potential to work, and I love the skill set that he's going to bring to the table to that offense.
Where do you think the Auburn Tigers go for their quarterback? Because I've got a theory, but I wanted to see where you go on this.
I've been hoping Will Howard, but when Lincoln Riley flies into Manhattan, Kansas, reportedly, I think it was On3 who was on top of that. I don't imagine Lincoln Riley is leaving Manhattan, Kansas without a quarterback. Maybe I'm going to be wrong on that. Who knows? But I would love to see him there. I think that there should be a lot of intrigue. I think a Cam Ward would be fascinating to see in that system. I would love to be able to pencil in Grayson McCall, but the whole credits thing, the way that worked out, I wouldn't necessarily bank on that. So if you're a transfer portal quarterback, how could you not look at Hugh Freeze and want to be a part of that? Because as much as we criticize the usage of Peyton Thorne early on, I still think that's more a byproduct of him getting to campus when he did. If you're a transfer portal quarterback, you have to do it now. You can't wait post-spring. You miss valuable reps. Even the Will Levis thing, year one, look back at that and look at his first month and look how rough it was because he was a post-spring transfer. And I think you can make that case for Joe Burrow as well, another post-spring transfer at LSU. Didn't really get going until down the stretch in that first year. But I think there absolutely needs to be one of those guys ending up at Auburn.
Who's your theory?
I think it's going to be a MAC guy. I think DeQuan Finn or Curtis Rourke.
Both of those guys went in yesterday, Ohio and Toledo.
Ohio.
Yeah, both of them very, very athletic guys. I mean, you look at Curtis Rourke in 2022 as the MAC Player of the Year. Finn just played for a MAC championship, but both of those guys are really capable, so we'll see.
I would definitely, if I'm Hugh Freeze, I'd keep swinging at the portal. I would. When I was putting that list together, you know what's crazy, guys, is the amount of teams that weren't part of this process that I actually looked at and said, oh, no, they're not going after a quarterback. Because everybody feels like they are in the market for a transfer portal quarterback, including Ohio State. A lot of Michigan fans are hoping that they go out and get a portal guy as well. There are just so many of these teams that we think of. USC is another one that we think of on a yearly basis of like, oh, you know what? No, they probably just have some 5-star that's ready to start. And it's actually like, no, they're probably going to go out and get a portal guy because that's just kind of the way the market's going.
Connor O'Gara is with us, Saturday Down South at CG O'Gara on Twitter is where you would follow him there and support his work. He's with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Real quick, though, on Will Howard, and maybe there's a situation I'm not aware of here. Colin Klein is going to join Mike Elko at Texas A&M. Would that be, you think, a potential for him? I don't know maybe if he didn't like Colin Klein's offense.
Seems seamless, though.
Yeah.
I bet that was more the byproduct of him getting the sense that Colin Klein could be on the move. If I had to guess, because I think if I am picking today who is going to be the starting quarterback at Texas A&M, I'm still probably defaulting to Connor Wigman, despite the fact that he spells his first name incorrectly. I would go in that direction. Yeah, it's two N's and an O, not two N's and an E. That's weak stuff. But Connor Wigman, I thought, showed a lot in his very limited sample size as a starter and somebody that was really highly regarded. He'd be the type of guy that if he were in the portal, you would go out and want to get him based on the limited sample size, based on the skill set, and just hope that a simplified non-Jimbo Fisher offense would benefit him. I would probably guess that he's going to be the guy, but never say never, man. The portal has just been absolutely bonkers so far.
Dylan Gabriel is going to visit Eugene, Oregon this week. And if you close your eyes, you can picture Dylan Gabriel in 11 or 12 different Oregon uniforms.
I could picture Dylan Gabriel in any uniform in college football at this point. And I'm not knocking the kid because, look, I would be doing what he's doing as well. He understands it. Look, the guy's 5'10", probably. He's got not necessarily the typical NFL build. He's going to play college football as long as he wants to. He's going to try and put up some really big numbers. And who knows, maybe he gets into the right situation and he gets to have one of those opportunities at the NFL. But like, play college football as long as you can and go to places where your skill set can be maximized. At first that was UCF, and then it was UCLA for like 5 minutes, and then it was actually Oklahoma. And I would love to go to a place like Oregon. I mean, you look at Bo Nix and what he did this year. Bo Nix was in his 5th offensive coordinator. Think about that. Think about all the things that we have said about Bo Nix, somebody that's been on your show many a time. And he was with his 5th offensive coordinator and Will Stein, the things that he did as somebody that came up through the ranks really, really quickly and worked wonders, I thought, with Bo Nix. I would be chomping at the bit to go to a place like Oregon.
We did not necessarily have you on to only talk transfer portal. We just kind of...
Yeah, we just kind of went there.
We got
developing news.
We got sucked into the portal like that. I did want to ask you about your thoughts on the game. So,
no, I do not want to ask him about the game. I don't want to ask him his thoughts on the committee.
Okay, you grew up.
Whoa! Hold up. Let's back up because Jim, what do you think? What do you think I'm going to say?
Permission to treat him as hostile.
Well, I mean, I would like to hear the witness's answer, Your Honor.
Do you believe Alabama should be in the playoffs, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I
believe Alabama should.
Your Honor, I don't even know which side he's working for.
I rest my case.
I got thrown in jail before I ever committed a crime. My goodness. Look, I would have had Alabama in over Texas, and that's an unpopular opinion because the games have to matter. I agree. The games have to matter. The game against the 2-time defending national champs who had a 29-game winning streak on a neutral site that Bama led for 42 minutes. That game has to matter. And I would put that ahead of a head-to-head game in week 2 when Alabama was a very different team. If we're going to be on the subject of talking about different teams, and Florida State's a different team, Alabama was a different team too. I would have much rather had Florida State and Alabama both in and Texas out, because if every other metric is supposed to be weighed the same as head-to-head, Bama had Texas beat in all those other metrics. So to me, that shouldn't have come down to that. And I didn't really like that it became a Bama versus Florida State debate. I thought it should have been more so like about Bama and Texas getting in.
I like that a lot. Proof that deep fried Southern grease can even change a
Yankee,
a person from up north.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to use the Yankee term, but
is he born north? Was he born north of Kentucky?
He was. Yes.
All right,
I was.
Yeah, he's got to own it. I'm sorry. Yeah. Those are the rules. I do not make them.
See, I think slightly clogged arteries help your brain power a little, makes your brain work a little harder.
Oh, it does. There's something to be said for that. And I've always said, I live in Orlando. Orlando is not the South. There's a bubble over it. So I don't really consider myself a Southerner, though I have lived south of the Mason-Dixon now for 8.5 years? Yeah, something like that. So I've seen the lights. Trust me, when I say grew up suburbs of Chicago, went to a Big Ten school, lived in Big Ten places. And I am not sitting here banging the drum for the Midwest football at this time of year, even a Michigan team that I thought should have had more consideration for the 2 seed than a 1 seed. But I guess that's neither here nor there. Yes, I would qualify as that, and definitely not a true Southerner at heart.
Yeah, 10 years you can apply for citizenship as a Southerner. So you're almost there. You're almost there.
He's common law Southerner right now.
Hey, on the other side, everybody's just penciling Texas in. And I don't know if people remember, Washington was a 9.5-point underdog. I do very well on Friday against Oregon. And Kalen DeBoer, 7-0 in one-possession games this year. He's 9-0 against top 25s in 2 years at Washington. The guy can coach. He's got one of the most experienced quarterbacks in the history of college football. I don't know how people are just saying, hey, Texas is in.
And especially if you look at to me, it isn't even really so much just about Penix, because you trust he's going to make those big time throws. Rome Odunze has been a heck of a player. I mean, McMillan, like those guys have been really, really fun to watch in the passing game. But did you see what they were doing in the ground game to Oregon? And Dylan Johnson, an air raid Mike Leach running back. Yeah, those are, I guess, still a thing, who went up to Washington on very awkward terms, the way that he left Mississippi State, kind of throwing Mike Leach under the bus. They moved the line of scrimmage and they were running the football at will. So people that look at Washington and they assume they're kind of this finesse team, I can't wait to see that battle between that really good Texas defensive line that had its way against Alabama and Tuscaloosa, and see how it stacks up against that Husky offensive line that showed up with some really, really bad intentions. It looked like a team that was pretty pissed off to hear week after week that they weren't the better team, that Oregon was the better team. We just knew coming away from that game. I agree with you. I don't necessarily think Washington is going to win a national championship, because I think they've got too many 2022 TCU vibes with winning all those close games. You just kind of wait for one of them to not go their way. But I agree with you. I would not just be assuming that Texas is going to make it to a national championship.
Do you know if they vote for the all Pac-12 team and all that before the Pac-12 championship game? Because did I see last night that Bo Nix was first team and Michael Penix was second team?
I think they do that before. I think they do that with all the conference voting, because didn't they? I feel like they did that with the SEC. I don't know. Like Jalen Milroe not being one of the first or second team guys, I don't know. I'll push back on that. I think he's going to finish top 5 in the Heisman, and for that guy to not even get all conference honors, interesting move overall. But I do kind of wonder if that comes out before, because they're too worried about, we've got Heisman voting that's after the conference championship weekend, or at least it's supposed to be. Maybe they push that ahead of time and just release it after the fact.
I just thought that was weird, and you bring up a great point that Jalen Milroe is not even your first or second team all SEC.
Well, he should be first team.
Yeah, I mean, Daniels is the obvious
Daniels.
first team. Yeah. I maybe if you voted after the SEC championship game, you would have flipped. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Milroe over back.
Milroe over back.
Yeah.
But before that game, I really don't have. I mean, I love me some Jalen Milroe, and he comes on the show, as you know, Connor, every week. I love Jalen Milroe, but I can't argue with that you went back over Milroe if you voted before the championship game. But if you voted after, I don't know that you should come down to a one-game deal either.
Probably. Does that make you now, you and LT, you guys are part of the doubters of Jalen Milroe?
I'm not a doubter.
I've already gotten labeled. I've gotten called out.
Yeah, Lance took his beating.
Here's all I said, Connor. Back in September, I was like, Alabama fans are very impatient right now because you've gone from Wagyu to regular prime. You've gone from 4 quarterbacks that are starting in the NFL to a guy that's good but not great. And from that moment on, he became great.
Yeah.
So
when Jalen Milroe gets a Wagyu tattoo, does he just bill it to the next round? Is that how that's going to work?
He should. He absolutely should. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good tattoo.
LT basically called him Golden Corral back in the summer.
Did not call him Golden
Corral.
Corral.
That bad.
I have we got a Golden Corral story that I will tell you guys off air another time. That's probably not appropriate for these airwaves. I don't want to throw a potential sponsor down the road.
Don't worry.
Let
it fly.
I'm going to say that's very low risk.
I think it's a shithole. So there you go.
If you want to tell the story, have at it.
Floor's open.
It's yours.
All right. So I spent the summer after my senior year of college interning at the Baseball Hall of Fame. One of the coolest experiences of my life. That's where I got that Billy Williams thing that's sitting right there, that lithograph. Unbelievable experience. I had a coworker one time. We're sitting in the middle of dinner, and he drove out of his way beforehand to go to Golden Corral. Had never been there before. Went ham. Went absolutely ham at Golden Corral. Shows up to dinner right afterwards. Middle of dinner. We're like 10 minutes in. He's like, I got to go to the bathroom. 20 minutes, guys. 20 minutes mid-dinner this guy took to go because of a post-Golden Corral experience. I have friends 11 years removed from that situation that I could just text them Golden Corral, and that will create a long conversation. So, look, I'm not chomping at the bit to get over to my local Golden Corral.
Well, I hadn't been to a Golden Corral in forever.
I went right when they opened the one in on Lorna back in like early 90s. And we tore it up, but that was back when $5 went a long way.
See, known for all you can eat buffets.
That's
right?
That's all they got. I don't even think they got a menu, do they? Do you see? Can you sit in and order off menu, Connor? Do you know?
No, I think that's just come in. You want shrimp and waffles, whatever you want to throw onto your
pizza,
plate. Sure, just make it happen.
You're not old enough to remember Wendy's used to have an all-you-could-eat. They called it the Super Bar. Do you remember that, Connor?
No, I'm old enough for the pizza buffet, the Pizza Hut buffet.
I used to eat the heck out of that at Jacksonville State.
And they'd have the one dessert pizza nobody would touch.
Yeah.
Pepperoni went like that.
Yeah, and if you went at lunchtime at Jacksonville State, we had the one Pizza Hut there. All the local like road crews and all that would be in there. They're just sitting there waiting for the meat lovers to come out.
Yeah.
And as soon as it came out, it was like vultures, man.
That's the way it was at my Pizza Hut. The people that wear Carhartt because they actually work.
Yeah, they do Carhartt things.
So all the I won't use anybody by name, but all these pizza deliveries from like the 90s and 2000s that as younger I don't know, high school, college guys, they were fantastic. And they're still good late night. But is it because we have more of a variety of good pizza? Have the ingredients gone down? Has the palate gotten refined? What do you think it is? Do you think there is a difference between the pizza you ate in college to where you are now and the pizza you eat?
It's a great question because my wife always talks about how when she was a kid, they would just go and get Pizza Hut like all the time. And now there are just so many more options. Like we've had Domino's here and there, and we had Domino's one time. There was when it was Hurricane Irma, and they were giving away $5 pizzas, and so we went over to Domino's, got ourselves a couple of $5 pizzas. Best pizza I've had in my entire life was that Domino's pizza. But I remember as a kid always thinking like, yeah, all these other people, they get like Pizza Hut and Papa John's and stuff like that all the time, and I never did as a kid. So I think it's a little bit about what you grow up with. You know, growing up in the suburbs of Chicago, it was like Chicago style pizza. That's what we're going to get, or the very underrated Chicago thin crust that we would do all the time as well. So like, I don't think it's dying. I don't think it's necessarily dead. There's still a convenience factor to it, but I think there's just more options.
So the three of us all have a different favorite Chicago style pizza.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's hear your favorite first.
Okay. So look, it's a different food. Like I love New York style pizza as well. It's spaghetti to lasagna. They're two different foods. I won't sit here and say like, oh, you have to pick between New York and Chicago. It's just different foods all around. Lou Malnati's is my all-time favorite. All time.
Me too, brother.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Hands.
That crust
is the best.
is so freaking good. Whatever butter they put in it, that's the difference maker.
You have to get the butter crust too. That's the key.
Yeah,
if you order it with the butter crust, that takes it over the top.
I've always been a Geno's East guy. Geno's East.
That's number two.
Okay.
That's number two.
All right.
Okay,
So,
you guys are on the right track.
Yeah, well, Dunaway's used to being third. Go ahead, Jim.
No. If you're really from Chicago, is it Pequods? How do you say
Pequods?
If you really, I don't even know how to pronounce it. But
Really?
my favorite.
I mean, I did some research before I went up there, and they said if you're not looking for a tourist trap, this is where you go.
You're exactly right. There is. I grew up a mile from a Lou Malnati's, and so like that is the all-time food of my childhood. But if you grow up like truly living in Chicago and not in the suburbs, that's probably the one that comes to mind. Giordano's is kind of like the I don't want like the touristy
the
type
airport one. You can get it at O'Hare.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get them in Orlando too. You can't get Lou Malnati's in Orlando, at least not yet.
And I went out to the Morton Grove location too. So I walked in, and it was they were like, "Wow, we got a tourist in here. What's going on?"
Yeah.
You know what you guys sound like? You guys sound like a bunch of Yankees right now. That's exactly what this is. This pizza review.
Get him off, Scott. Drop him.
Have you ever had Lou's delivered? Because I've talked to people that have. I mean, I guess they box it and ship it, but how is the taste?
It's incredible.
Okay.
It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. I've had Lou Malnati's delivered. I've had Portillo's. Like you're talking about like the frozen, long distance. Yeah. I've done that. It is still really, really good. I mean, if you're going like getting fresh, it's still creme de la creme as far as foods on this planet, as far as I'm concerned. But getting the frozen option is still really, really good. It's pretty expensive though. I mean, 2 pieces is like $70 or something like that to be able to ship it. But it is the real deal. I recommend for anybody that's looking to try it.
Have you ever seen the show? I think it's on Hulu. The Bear, was that on Hulu?
The Bear was on Hulu. FX.
FX, and they make. You've not seen it?
I have not seen it, but I've seen like all the promos for it.
Yeah, so he works at a restaurant, and they're known for their Italian beef.
Yeah, meat sandwich.
The meat sandwich, is that good? It looks good.
Italian beef is my favorite sandwich in the world. You guys are just speaking my language right now. I've done that.
We're always hungry.
Like I've had my mom get me like an entire week's worth of Italian beef and ship it to me down here in Orlando. There's something so simple and so good about an Italian beef sandwich, and it's hard to explain why it's so good, because it's different than like the French dip or something like that. It's not quite that, just the way that it's seasoned and stuff. But a Portillo's Italian beef sandwich with sweet peppers, not with hot peppers, with sweet peppers, maybe a little bit of a light dip. That is, I'm getting hungry just thinking about
I'm
this.
all in on that.
Thank you, Chef.
Thank you, Chef. All right, Connor, thank you very much for all that hot take football talk there.
Gentlemen, appreciate it.
All right, buddy, take care. Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South. We love having Connor on at CJ O'Gara. Is where you find him on Twitter, and he was on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. And don't forget, right now at Johnston RV Center, they have got a ton of previously owned inventory because you guys have responded so well to us asking you to go support them. And the reason you do that is because of the job that they do. They're amazing at Johnston RV Center. You can get a great deal right now on previously owned. You don't have to sacrifice the lifetime warranty. Anything 2 years or under, they give you a lifetime warranty there at Johnston RV Center. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicator, always online, johnstonrvcenter.com.
And before LT tells us about Dr. B, which he will do in a second, I'll remind you that Alabama Power has that new app right now that can help you manage your account, check out the usage, and also maybe when your power is going to come back on during a storm, right? All you have to do is go to alabamapower.com/mobile app, alabamapower.com/mobile app, or to your Apple or Android store to get the new Alabama Power app. And then Dr. B has powered up LT's hair follicles.
Yeah, when I started to thin out, asked around, everyone said Dr. Beckenstein is the guy you need to go see. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Make the phone call that I made a long time ago. My hair has more than doubled in thickness since I went to see Dr. B. Call Dr. Beckenstein today, 205-319-0316. Tell them the Next Round sent you. For more information, you can always go online. Go to t3hair.net.
Follow John Lunsford on Twitter at JLuntz.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
The Next Round golf cart is back and is presented by Urology Centers of Alabama. For $89, play Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the renovated Woodward Golf Club. $247 in value for just $89. Or get bonus gifts with the Deluxe Golf Cart for $119. No restrictions, good through September of 2024, but supplies are limited. Buy right now at nextround.store.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
What would happen if Santa came down your chimney and discovered fire damage in your home? What if he came down the chimney and discovered a wet floor? Santa's elves can't clean it up. You would have a lot of unhappy children Christmas morning. If that happens, contact DryTech Water Restoration immediately and make sure your children have a Merry Christmas. DryTech can clean up the mess and get in touch with your insurance company. Call DryTech 205-637-0143 and make sure your holidays are safe and happy. Happy holidays to all from DryTech Water Restoration.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off.
Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Back with you on the next round as we roll on. Forrester, do you have the Time Magazine cover?
There he goes.
Okay, here we go. Time Magazine.
Who's on this?
Time Magazine, Person of the Year. Oh, it's Taylor Swift.
Shocker.
She looks just like she did when she broke into the business.
Well, I mean, that was 20 years ago, LT.
Yeah.
Time Magazine.
Is that
Person
a
of the Year.
cat around her neck?
That is a cat around her neck. A live one. No cats were harmed in the making of this cover.
Do you know if it's her cat or if that was just like a artsy shot there by some?
I do not know if it's one of hers, but she does own a few.
Yeah, she named them after the
ex-boyfriends.
No, the
Special
Special Victims Unit. Olivia and what's the other dude that's on there? The Chris Maloney character.
I don't even know this.
Elliot. Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's right. I think that's right.
I don't even know that.
Damn, Dunaway, I thought you were a Swiftie.
I do have the tattoo, but I didn't know the cat's names there. Show brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. A couple other things not involving Taylor Swift, though she was responsible for a 36% bump in StubHub business this year.
I heard her and Jason Kelsey's wife might not be getting along. This is stuff you learn when you take your kid to school.
I love Jason Kelsey's wife, by the way.
Do you?
Yes.
I don't like the Kelsey brothers. We could send them to the moon, and I would be good with it.
Oh, we can't get to the moon.
She was like a Division III stud field hockey player.
Let me guess, you follow her on Instagram.
I do now, yes.
205-969-8100. That is the number you need to call. I talked to our friend Amy yesterday. Asked for Amy by name. Tell her the next round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. Actually, one of our listeners reached out yesterday, and he said, after 20 years of hearing you talk about Dr. Mark Michelson, I finally got scheduled, and I am actually getting the procedure done by the first of the year. If you get it done by the first of the year, guess what? You're going to save big money. It is a one-time deal from the next round. And from Michelson Laser Vision, Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. Again, 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
John says, Lunsford back row, Meredith Grey after Grey's Anatomy, right? That's the lead character there. Olivia Benson, I guess, is from.
So she watches shitty TV, is what we're saying.
And Benjamin Button.
Benjamin Button's a great movie.
You've always liked that movie, yeah.
Yeah, but I've tried to watch the Special Victims Unit. Same thing.
So basically,
same thing every time.
Benjamin Button, oh boy, he's born old and he gets young.
Yeah, it's just a reversal.
Reverse ages.
Of how you live.
Well, does he die when he gets to be a baby?
Yeah.
That's spoiler alert.
Well, you think about this. So you shit your britches when you're young and
old,
really old.
That's true.
It's really the exact same cycle of life, but they just reversed it, and it's got a lot of time concepts. Something Christopher Nolan probably would have loved to run with instead of David Fincher.
It does sound a little
But just think about how much better that would be, though.
What?
If you started old
and got young
and you didn't really know anything, well, I mean, you know a lot of things when you're old, and then... But then
you forget all your
problem
wisdom.
But then when you get young, now you really don't know what's happening as you die.
Yeah, it really it's so backwards. So he meets Kate Blanchett's character in New Orleans when they're young and he's kind of old, and then they develop this relationship, and then he's like a teenager and she's like in her 40s banging this dude, and so it's a pretty awkward thing.
Yeah, I would say that's a little awkward.
Well, I was just talking about if everybody was that way, because the
thought, you'd want it the other way.
The thought of being old and knowing that the end is near.
Things wouldn't function if there was 300 million babies right now.
Yeah.
How would government function?
We've got a president.
I mean, like not making the playoff. Like it doesn't work.
We've got old people, and just think that
our president drools.
Well,
right?
I mean, everybody. You got to be like 80 to run for president now. President Trump and President Biden, aren't they both going to be in their 80s if they get elected again?
Just think, every college player would be Bo Nix's age at this point, right?
I'm telling you, that makes
somebody's played a lot of games.
That makes for better football.
Yeah, older players.
No, I'm talking older quarterbacks.
Yeah.
It's a game changer the last couple of years in college football.
Our friends at StubHub, though, put out the most demanded ticket event of the year. World Series was number one for all the games. They play more games than these others. So that was number one through StubHub this year. Super Bowl was number two. The NBA Finals was number three. That was Denver and Miami?
Yeah, it was Denver, Miami.
Yeah. College football playoffs was four. What surprised me, what was 5, 6, 7, and 8.
What's that?
Number 5 was the Miami Grand Prix.
Oh, yeah.
Remember how big a deal that was?
Down at Hard Rock Stadium, yeah.
Number 6 was the Las Vegas Grand Prix.
Yeah, and that was a mess, too, by the way.
Number 7 was the Canadian Grand Prix.
Okay.
And number 8 was the U.S. Grand Prix in Austin.
Yeah, it sounds like F1's licensed to print money.
U.S. Open tennis was number 9. Stanley Cup Finals was number 10.
Well, man, I went to, we're going to be in Vegas in a few weeks.
That's right.
But I went out there in May, and so they just ran the race like last week. You guys remember the promos. And they had basically redone the infrastructure of Las Vegas for that race. And so you think about the money that must be involved with that.
What is this? So I've told people before that both games I have been to in the Rose Bowl Stadium, they were not the Rose Bowls, obviously, but it was Alabama, Texas, both playing for, obviously it was a national championship game, and then over Florida State. That both times everybody's been freaked out about ticket prices because the game's at the Rose Bowl, and both times I've gotten out there, I have helped people find tickets.
$100.
Below face.
Yeah, they bottom out.
Yeah, below face. And my theory on that is that it is so expensive and difficult to get out there that people don't go without tickets by and large.
Yeah.
So there's just not a good secondary market.
And that was
there.
national championship. This
Both
is a
of them.
semifinal game. So
this was, you think about Texas in 2009, Alabama. There was a lot of Texas. There were a ton of Alabama fans, and it had been, 17 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was still a cheap ticket.
Yeah, it was below face.
It was $100.
I mean, I got 2 people. I'm just going to tell you this. I got 2 people in free. 2 people I know. Somebody just gave me the tickets that they're not going for that much. It was not Steve Susie at ATIX or anybody. It was just somebody that was trying to sell them on the secondary market. He goes, I can't sell them. Just give them to them.
But I will say this: you guys have done press box both times. I've done in the crowd.
Yeah, not great.
I had good seats both times, so it is worth paying the extra money because if you're in the end zone, a deep end zone shot in the Rose Bowl,
that's far away, man.
Oh my gosh, it is so far away.
Well, Lunsford says face on those is $185.
Right.
I bet you it's a $100 ticket.
I think so too. And then factor in, as I was saying, this is semifinals, so some people are like, well, I'm not going to go to that one. I'll wait and go to Houston if we win that game and pay a lot of money to get into Houston,
but
which
also,
is going to be a smaller stadium, NFL-sized stadium.
Alabama fans always spend money. Michigan fans are, by
it's the
most
Rose
part,
Bowl, so it's big for them.
They're super rich, and it's going to be their last Rose Bowl. So I would think that Michigan is going to travel big time.
Yeah, that's a great point, LT. And it is the actual Rose Bowl, so that's got me excited a little bit. I'm excited about our stop in Vegas to do Vegas as well to do a show.
That's right.
Because
some of our friends out there.
We're going to see the Sphere.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see the Sphere.
Are you going to go see U2?
I don't know about that
because I think they've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday shows. I think
their run is done.
Is it?
I don't know.
It's some other event that's in there.
I don't
now.
know. I mean, Brock Huard was there. He joins us on Unlocked. He was there last Saturday night.
Yeah.
So.
We should do a Rose Bowl float.
No, but I'm excited. We'll have more information. We're going to be broadcasting from a sports book in Vegas on Friday before. And if you guys want to join us, we'll give you information.
Yeah, we'll give you all those details coming up. Top of the hour here. A couple more hours still to go on the show today. Being brought to you by our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. Storm Restoration Roofing. When we come back, we'll get back into some college football conversation. More people have hit the portal today. Some players that could be interesting for some. And there's the conversation about maybe the most improved player in college football from the beginning to where they are now. We'll talk about that when we come back. Our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing want to help you with a free no-cost roof inspection, 205-542-3531. That's Greg from Pell City. He and his wife own the company, locally owned for over 2 decades, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Call him up, get that free no-cost roof inspection. He handles storm damage, new roofs, whatever. He'll do it for you, 205-542-3531. Or Greg from Pell City on Facebook. This is the next round.
Our Monday morning quarterback is Fox Sports' Joel Klatt. Every Monday at 10:25.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters. It's the will to prepare to win." Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that's right for you. Stop by one of the 7 Central Alabama locations today or give them a call at 1-855-4-BRYANT to begin preparing for your financial future today. You'll find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about. Bryant Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice.
Ryan Brown here for the next round with a question for you. Are you on the bandwagon yet? Bandwagon wants to invite you to one of their 3 retail locations in Birmingham for all your holiday shopping. Bandwagon has the top brands in sporting goods, athleisure, and lifestyle apparel. You can check your entire family off the list at Bandwagon with brands like Task, Bird Dog, and Varley, plus the best in sports equipment. Visit the Bandwagon locations in Cahaba Heights, Homewood, and Trustville, or online, bandwagonsports.com. Next round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken. It's time to start thinking about employee holiday gifts. Consider getting your hardworking guys a pair of Red Wing boots. Each day your employees are on the job site helping your company succeed, so reward them with comfort at its best. The Red Wing mobile shoe truck can visit your shop and fit your employees with a great selection of boots. Or Red Wing gift cards can be purchased at your local Red Wing store, available in all amounts. Whichever program you choose, your employees will appreciate the quality, service, and selection from Red Wing shoes, and they'll also be thankful they have such a great boss. Reward your employees this holiday season with Red Wing shoes.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
It's going to shock you. 17 parlay didn't hit last night.
The 17. How many legs did you get in on that?
I got beat early by Providence. I had Providence in the points. So
you didn't have to sweat it.
You ever thought about just playing straight up?
No.
Well, I did. Most of my money was on Tennessee minus 15.5, and I got that home. So I covered my expense on the 17 parlay, just trying to,
Just have a little fun.
Yeah, just trying to hit big on a small wager. But my big money was on Tennessee last night. They easily covered George Mason. A couple of good games tonight, by the way.
What we got tonight?
You got South Carolina at number 24 Clemson, 7 o'clock ACC Network. But my favorite game is the Shaka Bowl tonight. Number 12 Texas at number 8 Marquette. Shaka used to coach there, did a horrible job in Texas, doing a pretty good job at Marquette. They play each other tonight. Best game
Shaka's better with a smaller budget.
It seems to be, right? He's better in that situation.
He really is.
And some coaches are that way, right?
I know, yeah.
Dan Mullen did better at Mississippi State than he did at Florida.
And I don't want to say there's less pressure. Obviously, at Virginia Commonwealth, there was less pressure, but Marquette is a great basketball school. So if there's ever going to be any pressure in any sport involved in that athletic program, it is basketball.
As we go to Jeff from Anniston, we'll tell you our friends at Urology Centers Alabama remind you that early detection is so important as we all age a little bit, and that's why UCA has 35 urologists on hand at 16 locations across Alabama, treating all your needs from prostate health to kidney stones and everything in between. Just go to urologycentersalabama.com, urologycentersalabama.com to schedule your appointment. Jeff in Anniston is up with us. Hey, Jeff, how are you?
Hey, what's up, Jolene? LT, I told you before, but I don't think you listened to me. But
I was just telling somebody in studio that you were my favorite caller.
Well, Well, I appreciate that, man.
So I do listen
very
to you.
nice.
Now,
It gives him time
sometimes
to
you
see
do
them.
get
Thank
a
you.
little wild out there, and I hadn't started drinking yet, so
No way.
I lose you.
Oh, man, you should hang out with me when I'm drinking.
Oh, I can't even imagine. Well, you and I need to
yeah.
get together, do an edible, and split a handle of bourbon and see what happens.
So seriously,
Hell,
before you start talking, Jeff, because life
Too
comes at you fast. Are we ever going to meet you?
Yeah, I told you. LT, I'm up for that about any damn time. But otherwise, I was going to come to when y'all have one of your, big gatherings and just see if I could go there and if y'all would know.
Oh, that'd be phenomenal, like the kickoff party or something like that.
Yeah, and just kind of go up there, and say I'm so-and-so, but I'm not really.
We could do a kickoff party in Anniston. I know a lot of people over there.
Oh, me too.
I mean, Jack State's a bowl team now.
Hey, Jack State led Conference USA in attendance, 20,000 people. We could just do it right there at Burgess Snow Field.
Hey, weren't you pulling for a bunch of the teams to go 5-7?
Oh, yeah. I wanted Jack State to go to a bowl game, yeah.
But LT, what I was telling you, man, give the TV series Hannibal a chance, man. I'm telling you, it's so good. You'd like it. It's on Amazon Prime now. But
Yeah, see, when you get network television and LT, that's oil and water.
Yeah, I am a snob when it comes to network television.
It's unbelievable. It was on network television. I mean, it's graphic, and it's. I think Mads Mikkelsen, and this might sound like heresy, but his portrayal of Hannibal is as good or maybe better than Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, one of my son's buddies, shout out Ryan Kozlik, told me that. He watches, and he said it's incredible. You need to check it out.
You'd like it.
I don't know. I heard that for network television, that James Spader show was good. I tried to watch it. Was awful.
Blacklist.
Terrible.
Yeah. I watched first season, I think, of that. But our hypothetical question. Say an acquaintance asks to use your hairbrush. Should you tell them that you may or may not have used that to scratch your back with?
No, if they're asking to use your hairbrush, they're accepting anything you do with it. I would never ask to use
hairbrush.
I hadn't used a hairbrush.
They don't want to use my comb then.
My comb.
No.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
That little mic on
It was a setup there. I didn't know it was a setup.
No, I wasn't. You set me up. All right. So you should.
No. If they're asking to use your hairbrush, they're getting what they get.
They can use my toothbrush, but hairbrush is too much.
Oh, yeah. And
have you ever let somebody use your toothbrush, Jeff?
Well, they did, but then I never used it again.
Yeah, it's a throwaway if somebody uses my toothbrush.
Same with me.
Yeah.
Even my wife, who I've been with forever, I would never share.
I do
toothbrush.
keep a bunch of extra
What?
toothbrushes just in case somebody does end up spending the night, and then you. And I'm talking about that was out of context.
Yes, it
I'm
was.
talking about,
Very much, yes.
when we have big parties and like Saturday night somebody will stay in a guest bedroom, I have got toothbrushes left over for them.
I think I've learned that's called an intimate kit.
What? What were you throwing your hands up about that I won't use my wife's toothbrush? I don't think that's that crazy.
Well, I mean, I trust you to when I kiss you. I can't trust you to use my toothbrush. To quote a great person,
it is disgusting, but I've done it.
Food and feed it to you like a bird.
Yeah, I mean,
he gets baby birded on a lot of things.
When you kiss Maggie, do you lick her gums and like down in her teeth?
Yeah, if she needs it brown, I would do it.
No, that's just.
You had cute
There's the gingivitis.
I'm just saying.
This is a guy that'll suck toes.
Listen, I don't. I suck at those toes.
I suck at your toes.
I knew it was coming too. Close casket.
No.
27 times.
I don't suck toes, and I've never used my wife's toothbrush. No.
Okay.
And it is true. It's like Jack Handy said, the face of a child says it all, especially the mouth part.
I love Jack Handy.
Am I the only one that thinks that men's underwear should be brown?
Oh.
No, I go black.
I guess I could just wipe my ass better.
Sure, I would start there.
From the laughter, I think Lunsford agrees with you.
Well, I mean, it just seems practical. I mean, why would you make it the color that shows stuff the most?
Yeah, I don't ever wear white.
I rarely wear underwear at all. Say you're hired for a top-tier major head coaching job. Who do you take between Jonathan Smith, Kleinman, Matt Campbell, or Jamie Chadwell?
Jonathan Smith.
My goodness, you just named 4 of LT's favorites right there.
No. I think of those 4
coaches.
No, you respect all those.
I
Matt
love
Campbell, Smith, and Kleiman. You love 3 of the 4.
No,
there.
but if big time program, I would take Jonathan Smith or Chris Kleiman. I like Chadwell and I like Matt Campbell a lot. I mean, Matt Campbell coached and recruited what is going to be, funny, it's on ESPN right now, your NFL MVP and your Super Bowl champion, Brock Purdy.
My fear about Chris Kleiman, here's my fear about Chris Kleiman, is he was a successful head coach at a program where you cannot lose hardly at North Dakota State, and they ran a specific type of football that works great on that level. And then he took a job where you can also run that specific type of football, and you're kind of hard to prep for. You're probably never going to be undefeated, but you win 9 or 10 games doing that. I don't know if that translates to Texas or Alabama or somewhere like that.
You don't think that kind of stuff would work in
I just don't know. I don't know that he could run that style. Now, if he's you would then say, well, if he's willing to adapt, but then that's not who I want to hire.
Jonathan Smith is already running an SEC style.
Right. And to your point, Brown, for Kleiman, then when you get to Texas A&M and Alabama, a place like that, you're recruiting in a different area, and those players don't want to play.
I don't need to level
that kind of system.
I don't have to level the playing field with my style of play. I can recruit elite guys.
Yeah, I'd go Smith too. If you were a DB or a DB coach, wouldn't you learn or teach how to accidentally tangle your feet in with the wide receiver's feet? I mean, you have to take a martial arts class and acting class or something like that.
Every play. God,
wouldn't it make sense?
Yeah, but you think about how quick those guys are. So for you to have the ability to tangle up feet, by the time you're trying to figure out which one's in, that dude is past you.
And if that really worked, Jeff, wouldn't Bruce Lee have been an all-NFL defensive back in the day? They'd got him in the 70s to come in and do that?
Well, he was a little smallish, so he might not have been so good on the run play unless they allowed, throats ripping out and stuff.
That was true. That's a good way to stop it.
How shocked are you that the top 4 scoring defenses this year are from the Big 18?
What's the Big 18?
The Big 12.
10, my bad.
Big 10.
Well, I mean, is that a function of their defense or their offense?
I think it's the offense.
Great defense, don't they?
Yeah, but I think it's a function of the offenses up there is what I'm saying.
Jeff, when I said I would vote Phil Parker, who ultimately won the Broyles Award.
Oh, did he win that last
night?
Did he?
But they have now gone 27 straight games without allowing 400 yards of offense. They only allowed 15 touchdowns in 13 games this year. So say what you want about their offense. Their defense is elite.
But to Brown's point, other than Ohio State and Michigan, somewhat Penn State, give me the good offense.
Oh, I wouldn't say somewhat Penn State. Penn State's not a good offense.
Yeah.
No.
So that's it.
So it helps your defensive numbers
it
as
does.
a league
Exactly.
you're playing against where Nebraska was this year. By the way, Jeff Sims in the portal today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't get that guy a bus ticket.
And I know it's early, but should I go ahead and pencil in Arizona and Purdue in the basketball finals?
Oh, never Purdue. Never Purdue.
I'd take Ithaca College over one of them if they were in my bracket. They've killed my bracket.
I know.
It is funny. We used to make fun of Dunaway's bet about Knicks making it to New York, and he's had a great year, no doubt about it, and he deserves to be there. But I think he benefits from what I call the Blake Sims quotient.
Which
I
is?
think 65% of his yards are yards after catch. And if you remember Sims, how many of his little wide receiver screens would go for 30, 40, 50
Oh, you're
yards?
dead on.
Yeah.
You know, Nick Saban has said this year that Jalen Milroe needs to play more like a point guard, and quarterbacks are point guards. Bo Nix has done a masterful job of being a point guard this year. But you're right. I mean, I would say probably 70% of his yards.
Yeah. And I think Daniel should win it and everything. I just hate it for that dino dancing Palagoo Kelly. But does he remind you of Lamar Jackson the most, or is there somebody else?
Yeah, a more accurate Lamar Jackson.
Right. Yeah.
He's going to be tremendous at the next level if he can stay healthy. Like we always said that in college, he cannot take those licks in the NFL.
No, he'll break in half. Not to get too personal, do y'all get to write off your cable bill, podcasts that you and websites?
Yeah. Absolutely. Cell phone too. Cell phone too.
Right.
I do not.
Okay.
Wait, why?
Why would you not write that off?
I have a bad accountant.
Have you explained to her that we own this company?
Why Why can't you change accountants?
Because my wife picked the accountant.
Oh, my God.
I mean, gas, I'm sure everything, right?
Well, when you own your own business, it's a game changer. That's for sure.
Last two, real quick. At first, I thought y'all saying that you could take or leave bacon was one of the most insane things I'd ever heard. Bless the Almighty for bacon and pig, for that matter. But I will never hear something as amazing, disturbing in the realm of my universe of something that I thought I would never hear unless I was tripping. Then Ryan Brown pooped in a Pringles can.
Yeah.
I mean, up is down, orange is not ugly.
I know. I was not proud of it, and I hated to bring it up, but, I mean, it's such a random thing that came up on the show.
Wow.
And Saturday during the SEC championship game, one of my best friends from high school, he lives in South Carolina now, texted me and said it was just a crying face Pringles can because he remembers the story.
I bought Pringles last night at the store, and I can't buy them without thinking about Brown.
I'm sorry, guys. I mean, we're an open book on this show. Yeah.
Did it taste a little funny, LP?
No. They weren't for me. I don't eat Pringles anymore after Brown shit in a can.
He ruined it for
It's on me.
everybody.
Sorry.
Last one now. What do you think is more important? Auburn getting pressure on Maryland's quarterback or being able to establish the run against the Mighty Terps? Love y'all, mean it. Talk
All right,
to you
thank
later.
you. I think that was Jeff's shot at Auburn having to play Maryland in the trans-perfect Music City Bowl.
I think they have to establish the run.
Well, I'll tell you this. If I'm an Auburn fan, I'm excited. You get to go to Nashville.
It's a great city. Up there for New Year's?
I would think by the time you play this bowl game, there's a good chance you've got a quarterback out of the portal. So there could be a lot of momentum for this team.
So you're looking to the future.
Well, Auburn's been able to run it on a lot of teams, so I would think you could run it pretty successfully on Maryland. I mean, they were able to run it on Alabama.
There's talk of Talia being in the portal after this year. He said he turned down a big offer from an SEC school last year, and some people thought maybe it was Auburn. So I don't know if it was or not. So we'll see if Tagovailoa is in the portal and if he plays in this game or not. Bo Nix, who won the academic Heisman last night, the Campbell Trophy, magna cum laude, by the way.
Bo Nix? I think he's taking one class online.
Oh, yeah, but I mean,
well, I guess you can't get a 3.3 out of one class.
It's his 7th year in college.
It could be Dr. Bo Nix one day.
I mean, very few people went to college longer than me, but Bo's knocking on the door, I think. Right now.
I was right there.
Yeah.
And so Dylan Gabriel's visiting Oregon, could be the next portal quarterback out there for the Ducks. Part of the show today being brought to you by our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa. It's the holiday season, LT. We tell you a lot of good things up here to do the holidays for gift ideas. Woodhouse is top of the list.
Yeah, I talked to our friend Stuart, who runs Woodhouse Day Spa at the Summit Shopping Centers. He's got a beautiful location. They are expanding right now. They're almost done with that renovation. So it's going to be bigger and better, but he wants to remind all of the Next Round listeners, very simple Christmas gift, great stocking stuffer is the gift of luxury from Birmingham's best day spa, the Woodhouse Day Spa. You can choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services, and so easy to order that gift card 24/7 online, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. That's birmingham.woodhousespas.com, or just stop in, see Stuart and that great staff located right there at the Summit Shopping Center and tell them the Next Round sent you.
Congratulations to friend of the show, Bryant Vincent, new head coach at ULM.
I always liked Bryant. You know, he was in a tough spot there, taking over kind of late notice for the best coach in UAB history. And I mean, it was just a tough spot to be in. But he was always good with us, as nice in person as he was with us on the show, and I'm glad he's getting back to the South.
Yeah, I'm excited for him. I sent him a text this morning and told him if he's going to be in Birmingham over the next couple of months recruiting, to stop by. We'd love to catch up with him because, you know, out of sight, out of mind. I thought he was very engaged in all the interviews we did last year, and I'm happy he's getting this opportunity.
I am too.
And look, you have a couple of good years, 7-8 win seasons. You can parlay this.
And you don't have the stress of taking over midstream for the guy who sort of built the program that you're taking over.
Yeah, he's replacing Terry Bowden.
Yeah, now he's taking over Terry Bowden. He gets to clean up a mess, so he's going to look good doing it.
But going in for Bill Clark, a legend, that was a difficult situation.
That was my point. Bronco Mendenhall gets a 5-year deal at New Mexico, and Derek Mason back in coaching.
Well, I was surprised by that.
Really good defensive coordinator at Stanford.
Awful game analyst on SEC Network.
Vandy, 1-year defensive coordinator at Auburn, got out of it, was an analyst. He's coming back in as a head coach. Seemed like there had been a good market for him as a defensive coordinator, coming back in as a head coach at Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, this is surprising, just knowing Murfreesboro right outside of Nashville. There's some familiarity, being able to recruit the region. But, from 11 to 13, man, he was one of the best defense coordinators in the game. Those defenses were airtight.
Stanford, for those that don't remember.
Yeah. Under Harbaugh. And you go to Vanderbilt, and, nobody can win there.
Nobody can. And now he's going to Middle Tennessee to try to follow a legend in MTSU standards, and Rick Stockstill up there. All right, quick break here. When we come back, more college football. LT's got our 4 downs for you. Still to come, Justin Hokanson in the final hour of the show that's being brought to you by the University of Montevallo. Great location for your son or daughter to go to school. If they're a junior or senior, you can schedule an in-person tour right now. Just go to montevallo.edu. You can find out any details you want to know about the school, including 23 NCAA Division II fully funded scholarship sports right there at the University of Montevallo. Great academics, theater department, broadcasting school, and so much more. I went to school there. My daughter's in school there now. Your son or daughter could check it out, maybe go to school there as well. Montevallo.edu, montevallo.edu.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
This hour brought to you by Jack's Western and Outdoor Wear, the perfect place for all your holiday shopping. We are easy to find just off of I-65, exit 304 in Coleman. Just look for the big red building.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters, it's the will to prepare to win." Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that's right for you. Stop by one of the 7 Central Alabama locations today or give them a call at 1-855-4-BRYANT to begin preparing for your financial future today. You'll find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about. Bryant Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at Hydra Live. Mention Next Round at checkout. Save 20% off any service. Hydra Live's got 3 locations, Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
The Next Round Golf Court is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes of golf and cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. That's a value of $247 for just $89. Or get the Next Round Deluxe Golf Cart for just $119. It gets you all 4 courses with cart, plus an exclusive Next Round Golf t-shirt, koozie, golf tees, and a sticker. There are no restrictions. The cart is good through September 2024. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
Back with you on the Next Round. Again, busy time of year for everybody. We're having a blast up here. 1 week from tonight. What are we doing, Brown? 1 week from tonight?
I am watching the SEC schedule release.
You are not either. What are you doing 1 week from tonight?
Auburn, UNC, Asheville on SEC Network plus 6 o'clock. The SEC Network, we are doing the game.
By doing the game, what do you mean?
Well, they want us to do a Manning cast style.
So we're doing the broadcast.
We're doing the broadcast. It's not going to be your traditional broadcast. Be a little more laid back. We'll have some fun with it. They're going to bring some guests by. So, yeah, that's coming up 1 week from tonight. SEC Network plus 6 o'clock, Auburn, UNC, Asheville.
In Huntsville.
At the Von Braun. So, speaking of going to the moon, Von Braun. I mean, that's who got us there.
Hey, look, I think they took the rocket down, though. I was coming back from...
Yeah, it was in disrepair. I read.
Maddie told me, look, there's no more rocket. I'm like, you're crazy. And so we were coming back from Nashville Thanksgiving, and I was like, there's no rocket.
Yeah.
They took the rocket down?
The rocket is down.
It was in bad. It was in disrepair.
Stolen?
No, that'd be something. I don't know what you do with that one.
Load it up.
Like put it in your yard for a Christmas decoration? No, they. I think it was in bad shape, and they had to take the old rocket down. I hate that. I remember that as a kid. You know, you'd ride up 65 North, see that rocket there.
Hey, I know we're not supposed to give our picks out if we're on the broadcast. You going to be wagering on the game?
No, we can't do that.
Yeah, we can. Why not?
I think
Well, not on that actual game. But
Yeah,
maybe.
not on that game. Well, I guess Musburger did it for years,
Yeah,
right?
Musburger did.
Yeah, he did.
If I'm doing play-by-play, do I have to say that basket is big for some?
Yeah.
Got the total and game we're playing it.
I was watching the Dolphins.
Auburn fans were over the top after that one.
I was watching the Dolphins, the Redskins Sunday, and the play-by-play announcer with Mark Schlereth, I cannot remember who it is, he kept saying, that's a very important touchdown by the Dolphins for some.
Myers isn't with him this year?
No, I can't remember who it is now, Dunaway. But
Well, I got the Mark Sanchez game.
Bad?
Yeah, not good. But his hair.
Oh, I've seen him, man. He's let that grow
It's
out.
like Puka Nakua. He's got Puka Nakua's hair.
Yeah.
I mean, it is full out
Like
perm
he
mullet.
stuck his finger into a socket and it blew out the back.
I mean, I guess he wears it like in a ponytail when he's not around.
We're also
or when he's not working.
We're
I guess.
also heading to the Floribama this weekend. Tell us what's happening at the Floribama. The Santa Drop's happening again, right?
Yeah, I will tell you. So the Santa Drop is going to be on Saturday before we get after it for Army Navy. So if you've got an opportunity, come join us at the Floribama, the world-famous Floribama, where a lot of different things are going on. Not only do we have the Santa Drop, we're going to be broadcasting. Brad, did we figure out a time?
Well, you know, I want to coordinate. Well, there's I'd like
Saturday Army Navy.
Yeah, right before Army Navy. I would like for us to be on while the Santa Drop happens. Steve Powers is going out and he shot it for us before we show it live. That's at 12:30. The problem is Bama Purdue tip at 12:30. So I know a lot of you will be, you know, having to make a hard decision there. Do I go watch Santa fall out of the airplane, or do I watch Bama Purdue?
Yeah, I think
I
we
would say
go,
Bama Purdue's going to play two halves. Santa only falls out of an airplane for about 5 minutes.
I think so. They're starting at 11 o'clock on the beach, and they're going to have a ton of activities. It's absolutely free. Kids, crafts, games, live music featuring holiday tunes. So if you're around the area, bring the kids out, show up. How about we go 11:30 to 12:30?
That's good by me.
We'll go the Santa Drop, and if you
have to
tune out,
away, you come back and see it on demand.
Tune out. But remember also, tickets 21 plus, and this is for New Year's Eve. Go to floribama.com/New Year's Eve. Ticket sales will start on Christmas. They will go through the 31st. They're $80 a ticket. It will 100% sell out. It's all-you-can-eat dinner buffet from 6 to 11, breakfast buffet to begin serving at midnight, free champagne split, party favors, live music, all three stages, plus surprises all night long. That is going on New Year's Eve at Floribama. For more information, floribama.com/New Year's Eve.
LT's got trash coming up here in a second. I want you to hear what I'm going to say right now.
Okay,
this
say
is
it clear.
pretty amazing against Georgia this past week.
Make sure you enunciate.
PFF, Pro Football Focus, goes back and grades every position group from the championship weekend. And the highest graded offensive lineman in any championship game this past weekend was Caden Proctor, University of Alabama.
Wow. What a turnaround.
How far? Who's come further, him or Milroe, you think?
Well, that's what
I think it's probably him.
I teased a player who's come the furthest this year. It's Caden Proctor.
Yeah, I think it's Proctor more than Milroe. Milroe has come a long way, but Milroe, you know, I mean, you go back to Middle Tennessee State, you could already see it in Proctor that there were some issues, and you really saw it in Texas. And it's wild, you know, our buddy Dan Wetzel, national columnist, Yahoo Sports, I saw during the game, he was like, one of the most amazing things about this football season, this is how Dan worded it, is Alabama lost to Texas because they were deficient at quarterback and offensive line. And you watch this Georgia game, and it's actually their strength now, offensive line and quarterback.
Absolutely.
And then he tagged it by saying Nick Saban is truly doing his best work. And you have to say that. I mean, Lance, when you watch that Texas game, you're like, boy, they are bad up front.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know what Milroe can do for them. And now they're winning because of those.
74 was almost an Olay in those games. And I think it was Roman Harper last week that said, you know, and maybe it wasn't, but somebody was on and they were like, you know, the first couple of games, I'm like, you know, this guy needs to get it together. And after that, it's like, you guys need to get him help or figure this thing out.
It was Barrett Jones who came on our show and said, he just needs some confidence. You can't play that position at left tackle without any confidence. He just needs to start stacking a couple of good plays together, and he stacked a couple of good games together, and that has led to him. I mean, if you'd have told me at any point this season against the Georgia Bulldogs, I thought that would be a swinging open door on the left side.
We're watching, so there's a replay right now on the SEC Network of the SEC Championship, and watch the block by 74 right there.
Right there.
I mean, he's
stoned him.
He just dominated right when Dunaway brought him up, dominated his opponent right there, en route to a 15-yard run for Milroe.
Against a guy will play in the NFL. I don't know his name, but he's wearing a Georgia helmet.
He's a Georgia
he's
man.
going to play in the NFL.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A lot of people, if you talk to a lot of people around the Alabama football team, and they tell you where everything turned for Alabama on that offensive line was Jaden Roberts coming in at guard. That once he came in, that was the group that, for whatever reason, gelled and started playing well.
Yeah, Suttles has brought that up.
Yeah, Aaron Suttles has mentioned, I think, Alabama and Bourbon,
He
right?
has,
but he's not alone in that there are a lot of people around Alabama that say, just watch that offensive line before Jaden Roberts and after Jaden Roberts, and you'll see a difference. I don't know why it is Dunaway. I don't know why just putting him in there made the difference, but something did.
Aaron Suttles brings that up on Bama and Bourbon. You can get that on all of our platforms, including Roll Tide Pods. Like and subscribe over there on Disrupt the Media YouTube channel. If you missed it earlier, Georgia quarterback, one-time 5-star recruit Brock Vandergriff has hit the portal and quickly landed at Kentucky. I'm always amazed that the portal opened on Monday. He's already picked Kentucky on Wednesday.
Oh, there was no contact communication.
Yeah. Tyler Shuck left Texas Tech. He has picked Louisville. Louisville is his home. So Kentucky got their quarterbacks today, Kentucky and Louisville.
Did Tyler Shuck, did he back up Marcus Mariota when he was in Oregon? How long does that guy been playing football?
I will tell you this. I think he did back up Justin Herbert.
That is a true statement.
Yeah, I think his freshman year, I think he was on campus with Herbert.
Still got eligibility.
And he still got eligibility. He can't stay healthy.
No, he cannot.
All right. All right. Let's do trash right here. It's brought to you by our great friends at Slice. Four downs.
Okay,
4 downs right here. If I said trash a couple
Twice,
times,
yeah, that's okay.
I was
it's
confused there.
It is time for 4 downs. Brought to you by our friends at Slice. Tell us about Slice, LT.
Locally owned and operated. It's local pizza, local ingredients, from the soul pie to the hot mama. You're going to absolutely love it. Get in and see the Bajalia Brothers, 4 locations, and don't forget about the carry-out special. $75, 2 of the specialty pizzas, 12 of the wings, half pan of the salad, 7 days a week. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
More total points. Tomorrow night's game, Patriots-Steelers, or Army-Navy on Saturday. We have a new record for an all-time low total in college football, and that is Army-Navy on Saturday.
What is it?
29.
Well, are we close to the NFL record? Patriots-Steelers is 30 right now.
I thought we got to 27.5 in one football game.
Iowa,
okay, yeah, it was 27.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a chance. I should have brought that point up.
To your point, though, last week, Chargers, good offense. Patriots played 6-0. That was the final, right?
That was the final, yes.
6-0. So we're not expecting a lot from the Patriots offense.
I mean, you got backup quarterbacks. You got Zappy against Trubisky.
Yeah. I'm going to take Army-Navy with more points.
I saw this stat this morning. I would love to credit who it was. It is not mine. The Patriots have had 3 games where their opponent has scored 10 or less, and they are 0-3. The rest of the NFL is 35-0.
Yeah.
That is really hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah, and that total is
30. I'm looking at it right here.
Yeah, that's the lowest NFL total I've ever seen.
Well, hey, but there's one that's not far behind, Lance. Jacksonville at Cleveland's 30.5 because Jacksonville may be without Trevor Lawrence in that one.
14 backup quarterbacks expected this weekend.
I'm seeing only 10% of the money's on the over right now with the Patriots and Steelers.
What's that number?
People are just hammering the under.
Yeah. I'll go fewer points, Army-Navy.
I got more points, Army-Navy.
I would go more points, Army-Navy, too.
All right.
Second down.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, 29 years old today. Better career ultimately, Giannis or Joe Burrow?
Burrow's got a health issue now. And that's what worries me about him. He cannot stay healthy.
He does have a health issue.
And it's unfortunate because when he's in, he is really, really good. But he cannot stay on the football field consistently now.
So the Greek freak to the adopted Cajun freak. Burrow is no championship yet.
Nope.
Yeah, he's been
Giannis
close.
has just one.
He's got one, but he's got multiple MVPs.
Multiple MVPs. Burrow has 0 of those right now, right?
Yeah, they make about the same. I think Giannis might make a little bit more.
I'm going to go Giannis here just because I think he'll stay healthier than Burrow. I'm really worried about it. Just is one thing after another with Burrow.
With Damian Lillard now, he's got another opportunity to win another one this year.
They're going to win the in-season tournament, looks like.
Oh, the Lakers got something to say about that.
Oh, they were gifted a call last night.
They were.
Gifted a call last night.
Third down.
Johnny Manziel.
I like how Lance had no interest in the in-season tournament until the Lakers look like they might be able to win it.
I really don't care still. Johnny Manziel, 31 years old today. Better 1 year.
31, huh?
Yeah. Better 1 year. Manziel
should still have 9 years left to play in the NFL.
He should.
All right, he's 31. How old are his internal organs, you think?
Well, I mean, that's kind of
He's
when
got a
we
50-year-old liver.
Yeah.
When you see Lindsay Lohan, she's about that same age.
Yeah, that's true. Wow.
Yeah.
Lindsay Lohan's only 31?
I think she's probably like 35 now.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, maybe a little bit older. But anyway, if I ask you better one season, Manziel, I guess it was 2012, right? 2011? 2012.
12.
2012 or Jaden Daniels this year?
I think I'd go Manziel.
No, with Jaden Daniels was more of an impressive season. Less improv with Jaden Daniels. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I would go Manziel just for 2 reasons. That is the best season we've ever seen in the history of Texas A&M football.
Yep.
I think at the end of the season, they were one of the 2 or 3 best teams in college football.
Yep, I agree.
And he beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Like, Jaden Daniels was fantastic. He didn't really have that signature win. His signature win was in Missouri when they were down double digits.
What about when they beat Alabama? You're talking about this year. They beat Alabama last year. Yeah.
Just 1 year.
Both had great receivers, Mike Evans, Malik Neighbors. It's pretty close.
Yeah, I think I'd go Manziel.
Yeah, I would go Manziel.
I'm going to go Daniels.
Fourth down.
Very strange here, but today is National Microwave Day. I just wanted to see the first thing you guys remember microwaving.
Hot Pocket.
You know, I think it was when I was a kid.
Oh, Eggo waffle.
In a microwave?
Damn.
I used to put that in a toaster.
I want to make this squishy.
You didn't put it in a toaster?
Maybe I did.
Oh, we didn't
I'll
have
go
a toaster
back.
brown.
I'll go back Hot Pocket.
Growing
Hot
up in
Pocket.
Forest Brook, we used to do the saltines with Kraft single cheese and just break them off and heat that up. I thought it was unbelievable when I was a kid.
You know, back when both my parents worked, so I would stay at home a lot by myself in the summer. And for whatever reason, these frozen burritos, you get them, they were like extra creamus.
Well, they're like cold in the middle, but they're
Yeah,
hot
you'd have to do it just right. But I would put those in the microwave and wear those things out. In the
I did too.
summer.
And
I
they
loved
had
them.
cheeseburgers that I'd come home from going out at night when I was like in high school or early college and put those cheeseburgers in the microwave, and I would get the cold bite every now and then.
Laura goes popcorn. Great answer, Laura.
Yeah, I do remember that.
I'm changing my answer now. Popcorn. I'm with Laura. Crusty Pop-Tart. You just put cheese on yours, right?
I did when I was in a pinch. All I had was Pop-Tarts and Kraft cheese, and so you had to put them together.
Boy, when Kraft cheese wasn't around, you were lost.
Yeah, I don't even think we had Kraft back in the day. I don't even know what the singles were. Maybe Borden.
Borden, I think it was. Yeah,
With
had
that
the
cow on it.
Yeah.
Didn't Borden know a step up from Kraft?
Oh, I don't think so.
No, I think Borden's a local
Well, I
Kraft.
thought Borden was made with real
Did
milk.
your cheese just say cheese on it? You got the government cheese.
Yeah, I had to
Government.
slice my own. Had to slice my own. When friends were over, I would steal some wrappers from somebody else's house and rewrap it.
Nanny and Papa stood in line for that cheese.
Toaster strudels, honey bun was Zach. Hot dogs.
Honey bun is good heated up.
Oh, I tell you another one too. As I've told you this before, my old man Randy Brown would take that round piece of bologna and he'd cut a slit on each at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. Put a little piece of Kraft cheese on it, throw that in the microwave. Did you ever eat that?
Yeah.
It would like bowl up.
But it almost looked like a swastika.
Yeah, that microwave would pop.
No, it did. It had that. It had a weird look. I mean,
well, I mean, I didn't think about it.
You're one of those people that see Jesus in toast, aren't you?
No, I've never seen Jesus on toast.
Do you know?
And if I would, I wouldn't tell you about it. I wouldn't make it a big deal.
Do you remember that? We were talking with Connor about this. Do you remember the first time you ordered a pizza, like a pizza delivery?
That was the only we had. The first thing we ever had was Jack's in Alabaster.
Yeah.
And then we had a McDonald's, Quincy, and Pizza Hut all came about at the same time. My senior year in high school, Friday night was a game, and then everyone went to Pizza Hut and hung out in the parking lot and ate pizza, which is why for years I did not eat pizza because I was so nervous about talking to girls that I would
you loved them.
I would always have massive issues internally from eating I don't eat Italian sausage to this day because I was mixing Italian sausage pizza and knee-high orange and pure grain alcohol. It was a bad mixture, man.
I don't think the women had anything to do with that.
It was a bad mixture.
I can vividly remember, and I'm not saying it's the first pizza delivery I ever got, but it was the first Papa John's. Because Papa John's, we're in Calhoun County. We didn't get all the stuff that y'all got.
Oh, I thought it was uppity because they had the garlic butter with it.
Well, and that's what I was going to say, Lance. I'll never forget it. Do you remember the San Francisco-San Diego Super Bowl?
Oh, yeah.
And Jerry Rice scores on the first play.
We had Papa John's.
How about that? They had just come to
unfortunately, I also had Stan Humphries and the Chargers plus 17 and a half.
But you didn't have to sweat it out. No. They had just started delivering to that part of Calhoun County. And I'll never forget getting it. And Jerry Rice had just scored that opening touchdown. And then the guy rang the doorbell, and I got my pizza.
I remember San Francisco wore white pants for that Super Bowl. Ironically, you asking me this, the first pizza I can remember getting delivered to our house was 1984 San Francisco-Miami Super Bowl. We got Domino's.
That went bad for me, too.
No, bad for me, too. I was pulling for Miami.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man.
They were too scared to come down Smoky Road. We'd have to go meet them out on 119.
But they didn't want to blow a rim.
I ain't making that turn.
Papa John's the one that comes with little peppers.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That was the thing. You open it, had the little garlic butter and the hot peppers. I was like, man, this is high end here in Calhoun County.
Love those. That's 4 Downs today, brought to you by great friends at Slice. The show today also being brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill.
Hemp Hill Service is offering a $69 fall tune-up when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Make sure that unit ready to keep up with this changing weather. Hard to stop a train call. The number that Birmingham's trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Justin Hokanson coming up at 11:10. A frightening thing I read in one of my newsletters today. It is frightening.
Okay.
When we come back on the next round.
10 things that could save your life tonight. Tonight at 10.
Start each game week on Monday morning live with ESPN's Tom Luganville and Jim Dunaway. 7 a.m. everywhere you get the next round.
Tom Luganville here for Jack's Western and Outdoor Wear. For great holiday shopping for the whole family, this place is a must. Jack's carries all the name brands in boots, hats, and apparel, including the Kynes Ranch brand, as seen on Yellowstone. You might not look like Kevin Costner, but you can dress like him. Jack's also has the only Ariat shop within a shop in the state of Alabama. Come see us every Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Sundays from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Just look for the big red building off I-65, exit 304 in Coleman.
The Birmingham Racecourse Casino's 7 days of giveaways is going on now. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. We're giving away $125,000 in free play and cash. That's right, Birmingham Racecourse Casino is giving away $125,000 in free play and cash. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. There's always more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
You want to look great while supporting your favorite show? You know the place to go is the official Next Round store at nextround.store. Yes, there are .store domains, and we have one. From shirts to hoodies to hats and all kinds of fun stuff, you can rep the Next Round anywhere you go. At the beach, Next Round hats to block out that sun. Up north in the winter, get you a comfy Next Round hoodie. Just need something to put your $20 beer in at a game? Get you a Next Round koozie and throw that thing in your pocket. You never know what stuff Jim's going to make me put in there next. Check it out. It's the Next Round store at nextround.store.
Looking for the perfect gift for everyone on your Christmas list? This is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store, and I invite you to do your Christmas shopping at the New Balance Birmingham store. Everyone needs new shoes this time of year, and they'll want stylish shoes that fit perfectly. At New Balance Birmingham, you'll find the largest selection and inventory for a specialty shoe store. We have every size from extra wide to extra narrow. Shop the New Balance Birmingham store on Highway 280 next to Chick-fil-A.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items, and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, Brombergs.com.
Two things before the scariest thing I've read this morning. By the way, it's the portal sucks for a lot of people.
But who?
But imagine Gunnar Gundy telling Dad, "I'm out of here." Gunnar Gundy is officially in the portal.
I mean, but he got every chance to win that starting job.
Played in some early games until they realized, okay, this is not us. This is not what we're going to do. Second worst thing I've seen today. This isn't the scary one. This is just sad. You always wonder what happens to the gear when coaches change. Well, Goodwill in Corvallis, Oregon. There's Oregon State gear that you can get right there in Goodwill, and it's got Jonathan Smith's name sewn into the labels.
Man, the dude played there, too. You would think he might keep some of it.
Oh,
right?
yeah, I'd keep it for the kids.
But how good of gear is that to pull up at Goodwill? If you're an Oregon State fan, just roll in there and scoop that up. I'd have no problem
Look, and it's
with
got
that.
Next Round on the collar.
Yeah. I mean,
it's embroidered.
It's just it's fantastic gear to get at Goodwill there. Just scoop that up. But people are making a big deal about it on like the Beavs themselves say, "I've got no words" when they tweet it out. It's a fan account, but this is Beavs fan.
Yeah, this is tough.
I've got no words, but I mean, what do you do with it? He's not going to take it with him.
Well, look, and I mean, here's the thing. I probably would have not done that. It could have been his wife. Who knows?
Yeah, but you can give it to the homeless, which is sort of what he's doing.
Or there's kids in the neighborhood that are still going to be Oregon State fans, and you'd think you could give it to the kids in the neighborhood or something like that.
Large kids, but I understand what you're saying. They're large kids.
Well,
but
I mean, you give it to their
saying.
mom and dad, and they're like, "Hey, when he's in high school, here's some Beavs gear that Jonathan will wear."
I like the Beavs gear better than the Oregon Ducks gear.
But just think of how many coaches have to do this, right? I guess if I would just leave it.
I don't
in
know
my
what you
office.
do.
I'd box it up and leave it in my office.
I don't blame him for leaving, though.
I don't either.
And a lot of people are saying he should have been loyal to his program. They're topped out.
Yeah.
And actually, they're not even topped out. They're going to come back down the other way now that they're not affiliated with the Power Five. And now he's got an opportunity not only to go to a job that he's going to make a lot more money in a relevant conference, he's got a chance to win a championship. He does. I know it's hard to imagine.
It's a long climb, yeah.
No, yeah. But to your point is they've got a great NIL, so he's in the Big Ten. He can do anything he wants.
And Dante Moore has not announced he's going to Florida State yet, right? So,
not that I've seen.
The betting favorite is USC is where he ends up. That was before Connor told me that Lincoln flew to see Will Howard.
Yeah, I don't know if Lincoln, he might have flown to see, who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Will Howard. That doesn't seem like a great fit in a Lincoln Riley offense, but maybe Lincoln Riley sees something in Will Howard that, reminds him of what Caleb Williams can do. Will Howard is a versatile guy.
Our friends at Way to Wellness bringing you part of the show today. Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. If you need to jumpstart your weight loss, maybe control some blood pressure or cholesterol numbers, you can do it all with Leslie and her board-certified team right there. They oversee the whole process there. Wonderful protein bars. I got one right here, the Caramel Crunch, like 100 grand. I'm going to have that as a snack coming up here at the top of the hour. Real easy plan to do. It's helped me for years and years. You can just get a free consultation. Just go to their website at planforme.com. Planforme.com. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. No contracts, no sign-up fees, and that first consultation is free with our friends at Way to Wellness. Okay, here's the scary thing. You ready?
Oh yeah, I forgot about this.
Brown, you like to take time away from work. You're not a workaholic, right?
I try to check out as much as I can.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to work 24 hours a day or not. The company Prophetic has just got raised over $1 million for research on the Halo. The Halo is a device that you'll wear while you sleep, which will emanate sound beams that will ignite the part of your brain for awareness and decision-making and will lure you into lucid dreams to where you can make decisions and be very aware. A lucid dream is somewhere between being in deep sleep and being awake. So you're asleep, but you've got a dream that you can make decisions about, solve some major problems, and they believe that this is realistic and the forefront of us being able to work while we sleep.
So I had a dream last night that Jason Sanders for the Dolphins had a game-winning field goal against the Chargers.
If you remember your dream, it's a lucid dream.
Is it? Okay, yes. But here was the problem, though, is he was forced to kick it basically over by the sideline, so it was a hard angle. Like, it was a really short field goal, but he had to squeeze it between them, and he missed it, and we fell to 6-4. So thank God I know it's not a real dream because we're already better than 6-4.
And you've already beaten them.
Yeah, we've already beaten the Chargers to open the season. But that was a weird dream to me. Yeah. And I've always thought about, like, technology one day, and I think we'll get there one day, where you can pre-engineer your dreams.
Yeah, that's what this is.
Yeah, to a certain extent. No, I'm saying
no,
like
the part of the story I didn't get to is that right there. They'll be able to decide what the dream is going to be, so that you'll be able to solve and do some work while you're sleeping.
Now a lot of people are going to use this for a lot of different things. Obviously, if I could pre-engineer a dream, right? But like if I wanted
poor Brie chicken fry,
yeah.
She'll never sleep.
She'll be like, I keep feeling like I'm in Birmingham, Alabama every night.
I can't.
Like,
I remember when I get up in the middle of the night, and sometimes I'll be able to go back to sleep and pick up where the dream left off.
I rarely do that.
I'm able to do that.
But don't you wonder why you dream what you dream, though? Like, why would I dream that Jason Sanders had to kick it from over by the sideline? Like, he wasn't even on the hash.
Yeah.
So it made it a really hard kick. And I remember thinking, God, if we were further back, this would be easier.
I think you feel like you're crowded right now in life.
Really?
Yeah.
He's got a kick from the
sideline?
sideline?
Walls are coming. They're closing in on you.
And we fell to 6-4, and everybody's like, God, I can't believe the Dolphins are 6-4 now.
I think, once again, you're failing expectations.
Yeah, maybe so.
That's what that dream is right there.
Jason Sanders did. He couldn't make that hard kick.
Listen, I won't be around, I'm sure, by the time we develop this. But right now, you can sign up for the first Halos. $100 deposit. It's going to cost, when it gets to the consumer, $1,500 to $2,000.
I mean, that's fairly low to pre-engineer a dream.
I don't care about pre-engineering. Just let me sleep, and I'll give you $2,000.
They're not working on that for some reason. It does seem like a halo that would make you have a deep, restful sleep would be much more productive.
Yeah, he said what?
Yeah, can I dream I slept 8 hours?
He said what is right about this. He says it's weird how much Brown dreams about the Dolphins. Do y'all dream? Do you have Rams dreams?
Oh, yeah.
You got Buccaneers dreams?
I don't know.
Do you have Lions dreams?
I don't think ever. Well, maybe once. I remember 4 or 5 years ago, I dreamed they played the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl, but they had to play it in a parking lot.
I don't even have Alabama dreams. I don't
because those are real.
I forget what the dream
you don't have
was.
To dream it, do you?
I forget what the dream was the other day, but it was the other night. But it was the one like I had to get up and pee, so I got up and pee, and I went back to sleep, and I kept dreaming it, and then I got up to pee again later on in the night, and I was like, God, I don't want to go back to dreaming that. And then I laid back down. I remember waking up saying I couldn't get out of that dream. Two times I got up and kept dreaming. I can't remember what it was.
What if getting up to pee was the actual dream, though?
No, that's happened one time in my life.
How old were you?
I can't remember.
Yeah, have you ever had sleep paralysis?
It was last week.
Where
I think I had it one time where I'm trying to get up and I can't make myself get up.
Right.
Like, I'm like, oh, this is scary. Like, I am awake, but I can't get out of this sleep.
So Chris says this is how they implant ideas in your head while you sleep. And that's the whole plot of Inception.
Yep.
Is that I can get a guy in a deep enough sleep that we can engineer his dreams to plant an idea in his head to get him to do something.
Yeah, I think this is dangerous.
Oh, no, absolutely. Yeah. If it's possible, we're still doing this. We'll be able to stream on Halo. That's going to be our plan here. Is you go to sleep.
Watch us while you're asleep.
Go to sleep and watch us while you're asleep.
Do you
don't
remember
have time today for us?
We
will have commercials.
We all know legendary businessman and philanthropist in Birmingham, a guy named Edgar Weldon, and a lot of people know who Mr. Weldon is. One of the finest people you will ever meet. And he would have his assistant. Mr. Weldon was an older man, or still is an older man. Would have his assistant record our radio show, Rockstar, on cassette tape.
Yes.
Every day.
Wow.
And then he would play that cassette tape as he went to sleep. And I never knew if that was a compliment or...
We just do the same one.
We're that boring.
We're that boring, yes. But Mr. Weldon, he used to listen to us as he went to sleep.
It's funny. I haven't seen a cassette tape until I was watching that Stallone documentary. Have any of you guys seen that, by the way?
I have not.
I have not.
You know, the interesting thing about it, and I like Sly Stallone a lot, is, it tells the story about how he made Rocky and how he's really struggled as an actor up until that point. But around his house, he's packing up his L.A. house to move back east. And he has so many pictures and statues and like memorabilia of himself all over his house.
Really? A little
It
self-absorbed?
is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Would you do a pre-engineered dream? Would you risk that?
I do not want to do that.
Nah, I got no desire.
I don't want to mess with that.
You don't want to set a dream like, God, I mean, I'm not talking anything sexual. I just mean
But even if it was that, I wouldn't want to do that.
yeah, you wouldn't want to be like, I've always wanted to know what it was like to sing lead for a massive band rock star, and you could do that dream just
It's
to get
not the same. A dream is not the
I
feeling.
know, but it's closer than you're going to get in real life.
Yeah,
That's not. Thanks for that.
Well, you do. I mean, I would say the same of playing Augusta. Like,
But no, I'd rather have the real thing than do that.
or
Like,
what if I said, I want to dream what it would be like to walk up the 18th as the Masters champion, and I could pre-engineer that dream.
I like potluck. Now I have a lot of disturbing dreams. I did have a dream the other night. One of our coworkers was an actor, and I was on set, and I was watching them do their craft. And they were a method actor, and nobody would come around them.
Lance was the potluck, like he's riding a unicorn in Willie Nelson's.
So they finally did my idea, CSI Aniana, and it was Kelsey.
It was
She
not
a-
Kelsey.
She
It was
was
somebody
a
we
detective.
used to work with.
Oh. True Detective season 1.
Laura's right. The Army Hammer documentary is disturbing. He got canceled after admitting to basically wanting to eat people.
I would go ahead and cancel you for that.
Yeah.
Yellow King reference, and I got no laughs there. Top of the hour, show being brought to you by our friends at Redmond.
It wasn't him, by the way.
Redmond Vodka.
Yeah, 8 times distilled, gluten-free. Pick up a bottle this holiday season, locally owned and operated. Available in 22 states. Ask for it by name at your local bar or restaurant if they don't have it. Tell them to get it. Charles Barkley, one of the great faces behind it. It is Redmond Vodka.
All right, 1 week from tonight, we're doing Auburn basketball up in Huntsville. Tomorrow afternoon, we've got Bud Light game night right there at Walk-On Stadium Trace, 1:30 to 2:30, an afternoon game day, if you will, for us. And then we're off to the Floribama for shows on Friday and Saturday. This hour of the show, as we go to the 11 o'clock hour, being brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Say hi to Sterling on Highway 119. Thompson playing tonight for the state championship in high school football again. Lunsford put the betting line at -2.5.
Whoa, tight one.
On your way to Tuscaloosa to watch that game, go by Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, champy'schicken.com, hand-cut chicken fingers, Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, and so much more. It's champy'schicken.com. The final hour when we come back.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
This hour brought to you by Jack's Western and Outdoor Wear, the perfect place for all your holiday shopping. We are easy to find just off of I-65, exit 304 in Coleman. Just look for the big red building.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Stop unwanted guests. Save $50 from our friends at Wayne's right now. Call 866-WAYNES1 this holiday season. Give the gift of peace and security to your home and family with a $50 off recurring Wayne's Pest Control services. Keep your celebrations joyful and free of unwanted critters this holiday and beyond. At Wayne's Pest Control, we don't just promise short-term fixes. We promise year-round protection for your home, keeping your family, children, and pets safe. Again, call 866-WAYNES1 today. That's 866-WAYNES1.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes in Cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. A $247 value for just $89. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
Looking for the perfect gift for everyone on your Christmas list? This is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store, and I invite you to do your Christmas shopping at the New Balance Birmingham store. Everyone needs new shoes this time of year, and they'll want stylish shoes that fit perfectly. At New Balance Birmingham, you'll find the largest selection and inventory for a specialty shoe store. We have every size from extra wide to extra narrow. Shop the New Balance Birmingham store on Highway 280 next to Chick-fil-A.
Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Somewhat developing news going on in college ball. Mississippi State is finalizing the deal to hire Alabama's outside linebackers coach and special teams coordinator, Coleman Hutzler. He's going to be Mississippi State's defensive coordinator, a guy who's got a promising future in the coaching circles. And this happens this time of year, and it's just the stupid cycle that we're on in college sports because we won't lay out the calendar. If we had a better, more strict calendar, they could have a hiring cycle after signing days and all this. But here we are, signing days on the 20th. These teams are still working on playoffs and bowl games, and now Alabama is going to get poached from their staff for Mississippi State's defensive coordinator.
Unfortunately for Alabama, they don't have an army of analysts that can just jump right in and coach right away. Oh, absolutely they do. Speaking of which, numerous times this weekend we ran into Charlie Strong, and dude still looks like he could break you in half.
Yeah. What is Charlie Strong? 62? Is that too much?
I don't think that is too much, Dunaway. I will say that Charlie Strong is, yes, I think 6'2", 63 is about right.
Yeah, I would say Emily Grace and Brown and I were on the field, and he comes walking in with the team, and he's in a coat and tie.
Yeah.
And all cut up, and still, as Brownie was saying, in game shape. And I was telling E.G. who he was, and I was like, and I think he's 62 years old. And she's like, no way that guy's 62. 63, says Forrester. So within the three-year window, he's still cut it
So
up.
my point there is Charlie Strong's seen a lot, done a lot. If for the playoffs, if Coleman Hutzler is now, and I would assume is as quick as he can going to get in Starkville, if that is immediate or if that is after the.
I think that's probably immediate.
Yeah, I mean, you've got plenty of guys that could just jump right in there and never miss a beat.
Yeah, good unit when you've got Dallas Turner and Chris Braswell, who were big stars throughout the season for Alabama.
And the NCAA's all-time leading scorer in Will Reichard. I will say this, though, Burnup, he got the shanks a little bit in the Iron Bowl and early in the SEC championship game. He had some shaky punts.
The one shank, it was because he went from the left hash. It actually got a great roll, but if that's from middle of the field to right hash, that thing probably a 15-yarder,
12 yards. Yeah,
it was one of those where every fan, when he kicked it, did the oh, and then it kind of hooked back in and rolled a little bit.
Yeah, it did have a weird hook.
Yeah,
to
it was an odd-looking punt.
Like he drew it there. Okay, a couple of things to get to here this hour of the show, being brought to you in part by the great folks right there at Hemp Hill Services. Again, LT, cold temperatures. 37 maybe in my neighborhood earlier this week.
I can believe that.
Got to have the heat.
I think it's going to be 70 and sunny where we're heading on Friday, though.
Fantastic. I got to check that out because packing tonight is going to be crazy.
Look, Trusted Name Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Hemp Hill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. Call today. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
It does look like Colin Klein's on his way to be the offensive coordinator for Mike Elko at Texas A&M. We told you yesterday Nick Saban and Eli Drinkwitz were finalists for the Eddie Robinson Award. Also on that list, John Sumrall of Troy. Congratulations to him. Kalen DeBoer of Washington. Steve Sarkisian of Texas. Mike Norvell of Florida State, and some others. Who do you think wins the Eddie Robinson Coach of the Year award?
Mike Norvell is going to win it now.
Yeah.
This is going to be and he's deserving. I think there are three guys that could win this thing and are very deserving. I think it's And no offense to guys like Nick Saban, who's maybe done his best coaching job, but victim of his own success. Kalen DeBoer, I would go Steve Sarkisian or Mike Norvell, but I think Norvell will win it.
I agree with you. I think Norvell will get, you hate to call it a pity vote
or
some sympathy vote.
Yeah. It's still well-deserved. Like if he, I don't know, if they would have lost to Louisville and you still gave it to him, I don't know.
When did you do your vote? When did you turn your vote in?
I haven't yet.
Oh, you haven't yet?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll vote or not, but if I missed
But you haven't missed the deadline.
I don't know if I have or not.
Okay.
I have to check the email, Brown. But as you saw yesterday when we were going through my emails.
That was a pretty important email you missed there yesterday.
This time, as a football writer, because I write a lot of football stuff. As a member of the Football Writers Association, I get to vote on some of these awards, and they come in fast and furious. All-American teams and stuff. I sometimes can't.
Have you voted for anything yet?
Not this year.
I'm with Lance. If the deadline has not passed, it benefits Mike Norvell because I don't think it's a pity vote. He did a good enough job to win it no matter what. But I do think a lot of people look at that and say, eesh.
Yeah, if I was voting, that would influence me.
Yeah, probably so. It's hard not to.
Yeah, because I'd be looking at the three. In a perfect world, I probably would have gone Kalen DeBoer. I mean, again, what he has done at Washington is amazing. 9-0 against top 25 teams.
That is amazing. We sort of thought Washington would be there. We thought Texas would be there. I don't know if we thought Florida State would be there. Maybe we did.
Some people did.
I did after that LSU game.
I didn't think Missouri was going to be mentioned where they're being mentioned this year. I mean, Eli Drinkwitz has done a hell of a job, too.
Oh, he's your SEC coach of the year.
Yeah. Now, I mean, after the LSU game, I thought Florida State could be in the mix. I never dreamt we would have 4 undefeated teams. We just normally don't have that.
Like Florida State would have gotten, and this is scary, if they would have gotten better each week and stayed healthy, I mean, hell, they'd probably be a 3-point underdog in one of these games.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, their best game that we saw all year was week 1.
Week 1. Rockstar, give me cut 5. LT came in with this today, and it is one of the when you read it, it looks worse than when you hear it. Jamie Chadwell of Liberty set this up, LT. And
yeah, so when I came across this morning, it's from 24/7, and they were asking Jamie Chadwell about facing Oregon, and specifically Bo Nix, because Bo Nix came out yesterday and said he's not going to opt out of this game. He's going to play his final collegiate game in the Fiesta Bowl. And the quote was, they were disappointed Bo Nix was going to play. And I came in and told you guys, I was like, we got to find this sound. I have never heard a coach not, or at least publicly say, we don't want the team at their best. And that's the way it read. A lot of things get taken out of context. Forrester found it, of course, as he does. Always a great job being able to hunt these things down. He said, you're going to be disappointed.
Here's how it sounded.
To play one of the premier college football programs in the country with Oregon, is something that typically doesn't happen to, programs like us. And if I could put in words just the emotion that our players felt to see that today, and just the excitement, the joy, the tears, it was a special, special moment. And we're thankful to be in it, thankful to be representing Conference USA. And we're excited about playing Oregon. We know how good they are. Sort of disappointed Bo Nix is not going to play, or is going to play. I was trying to hope he wasn't going to play against us. But I have a relationship with Bo's father going back from FCA football camp. We actually coached at the same place together. So Bo's a tremendous player, and we're looking forward to going against, could be a Heisman winner. And so just unbelievable opportunity for our team and our fans and our community and our university.
So mostly tongue-in-cheek.
Definitely a smirk, yeah.
Two things. If he wouldn't have referenced the fact that he's got a relationship with Bo's dad, I think you could have said, damn, that's kind of strange. The other thing, he is a Southern Jay Wright.
Oh, yeah, he does have some Jay Wright in him, yeah.
Justin Hokanson standing by. We'll get to him right after LT tells us about our friends at New York Butcher Shop.
New York Butcher Shop, just a great place to go, not only to pick up dinner for the family, and if you're having a big celebration, maybe go in there and get some of the incredible steaks. I did that just last Friday. Not only the incredible meat that you can pick up from the New York Butcher Shop, you can also get the incredible sides, the huge deli sandwiches for lunch. One-stop dinner shop, 2 locations, Cabo Heights Highway 119, New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Hoke is with On3 Sports, Auburn Live at _Jay Hokanson on Twitter, and he joins us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. What's up, Hoke? How are you today?
I'm good. A little tired. I'm good.
A little tired. Hoke coming off a workout. You get a good lift in?
Good lift, good run. All good, man. How are y'all?
Doing awesome. Thanks a lot. There's a lot to cover here. Let's start with transfer portal. Transfer portal is open. Some would assume Auburn is shopping quarterback in there. I've heard some say they are not. Based on your intel, is Auburn shopping quarterback, and what rack might they be shopping off of?
I would say, so we've talked a lot about this on the message board at auburnlive.com, and the way I've kind of told our subscribers, and from what I understand, is, are they shopping? Yes. Is he desperate for a portable quarterback? No. So I think that if the right one is there, and the right one meaning NIL, like what the wants are, how does it match up with what Auburn wants to do NIL-wise with everything else? They want high school kids, other portal players. What are the NIL desires from that player? And then scheme fit, culture fit, all that kind of stuff. I think if there's that guy there, they'll pursue it. If it doesn't fit, and it's not a fit across the board, specifically in NIL, if some kid wants $1 million, I don't think that Hugh Freeze is comfortable doing that. I think that he would be content going into next season with Peyton Thorne, try to get Holden Gerner to stay. You got Hank Brown and Walker White there to try to develop. I think that he would be okay doing that. I think that Hugh Freeze thinks Peyton Thorne has got a lot of potential. There was a lot of reasons that I don't think he reached his, peak performance this year. Receivers, rotating quarterbacks, play calling, who's doing that. There's just a lot of issues. So I think that he thinks that Peyton Thorne's got some ability if the personnel around him is improved. And so that would be my answer. Are they shopping? Yes, but they're not so desperate that I think they're just going to go get anybody they can get.
Okay, you also get reaction from fans. And I'm playing golf on Sunday, and my buddy Jay Orr, who's a huge Auburn guy, he says, I don't want our school doing the $1 million, $2 million quarterback every year. I want us to get quarterbacks and develop them. He says, I'm good going with Peyton Thorne again next year. And I was floored. I almost dropped in my beer. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you saying this? And he's like, absolutely. So you just said it too.
And Dunaway, it was a full beer.
Yeah. And you just said it too.
Barely drinks them.
How are the fans on your site reacting to possibly that being the case? Is that popular?
I would say, granted, our message board is a small percentage, but it's a vocal, it's a rabid percentage. I would say it's kind of half and half.
Wow,
I mean, it's probably a little. I would say it's a little more in favor. I think people are coming around to the idea that there were some things that held Peyton Thorne back, and that really, if you dive into the numbers, he was not bad if you really go in, especially the last 5 games.
So it wasn't talent holding him back.
Who? What, his talent?
Yeah. I'm being sarcastic. I mean, the last couple of years, he's looked awful, in my opinion. Back to East Lansing this past year. I don't see it ever working out, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, well, you're not alone. But I think that Hugh Freeze thinks there's potential there and what Peyton Thorne can do if there's the right personnel around. And the other thing with Hugh is, if you read what Hugh Freeze, if you go kind of look at what he said about NIL, go look at what he's talked about building community, about longing to try to connect with his players. He will play the NIL game, that's for sure. But there is a line that I think we're going to figure out with him and other coaches on what's too far. And I think with Hugh Freeze, he'll play the NIL game to a point, but there is a point where he is not going to go over the line and go, okay, I'm not going to just give you X amount because you want it, bring you in. Now I got to worry about the quarterback room, how everybody else is going to deal with it. Like, unless that guy's a home run, I don't think he's going to take that chance when he could take those NIL resources, allocate them towards other high school players or other portal players, and get, it's just like a GM in NFL. You got to figure out how to build the best roster with the money you have. And so I think, everybody sort of deals with that. And so I get what you're saying about Peyton. There are times where he struggled, but if you dive into the numbers, in terms of touchdowns per attempts, the past 5 games, he was actually one of the better ones in the country. Like, there were signs that he can be good, but you didn't get a good picture because of all the other things going on, I think, including Peyton getting there in the summer and then trying to figure out the offense and then rotating and then play calling and then the receivers not being good. There's a lot of stuff that it makes it tough to me to fully evaluate Peyton Thorne.
Well, the interesting thing is we have heard, Hoke, that it's kind of an unlimited budget, that Auburn and the collective will spend what they need to spend. So if I'm Hugh Freeze with that mentality, I'm like, hell, let's go out and let's pay one of these home run guys. Because Cam Ward, to me, is a home run guy. I've got a feeling, and I said this earlier on the show, DeQuan Finn from Toledo, Curtis Rourke from Ohio, if they are looking for a budget quarterback, I wouldn't be surprised if they look at one of those two guys. But if you've got the money, why would you not just at least make the offer?
Yeah, I don't know about the unlimited. I mean, they've got a good budget. I know that within the last week or so, I know that there were pitches from Freeze to donors. Hey, we need a little bit more. We need to close the gap on what I think we need, not only for the portal, but they're trying to keep some players on the roster that could leave, that could go pro. They're actually trying to, can they keep Jalen Simpson? Can they keep Marcus Harris? I mean, there's a lot of needs there too. And so I wouldn't say unlimited. And I also would say, even if, let's just say you had unlimited, if you're Hugh Freeze, if you go out and just spend and make wrong decisions, next year, the year after, you keep going back for money. Those guys didn't make all that money by just giving it away. And I do think that you got to be judicious with it, even if you think you have enough. So I think he's just trying to weigh all of that and trying to figure out if he wants to go spend $1 million on Cam Ward. I don't think they will do that. Riley Leonard, I thought that was going to happen. There was some issues there where they came back and wanted more, and I don't think that sat well with Hugh Freeze. They kind of backed away from that situation. I don't think they're going to spend that much for a Cam Ward either.
Justin Hokanson at _J Hokanson on Twitter, Auburn Live, part of On3 Sports. He's with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. I am not trying to put words in your mouth, but I am reading between the lines of what you're saying. It sounds like Philip Montgomery is about to wear the collar for this whole thing.
I would be surprised if he returns. Yeah. I think the question is where do they go? What direction does he go? Does he want to call plays? If he does, maybe just promote Ken Austin. That would be a comfortable thing, especially if you want to bring back Peyton and make him the guy. Peyton and Ken Austin have a good relationship. If you want to go bring in a portal quarterback, well, does that mean maybe you need to go hire an OC, a bigger name OC? Do you want to promote Ken Austin and then go bring in somebody that's OC in name but's a really good recruiter? I think there's a couple ways he could go. And maybe a lot of it depends on, does Hugh Freeze for sure want to take back over play calling 100% next season? I don't know.
Yeah. What do you anticipate in this bowl game for Auburn taking on Maryland?
Oh, man. We've been so busy with the portal. It's like, there's a bowl game.
I know.
I don't know. I mean, it depends on who plays. I mean, Auburn's secondary, first of all, Nehemiah Pritchett, DJ James are going to the Senior Bowl. Do they play? Does Keontae Scott go pro? I mean, that secondary could be decimated. There's a couple other guys that are considering transferring or, considering their options. So that secondary, who knows what that could look like? Does Marcus Harris play? That's your best defensive lineman.
Well, wait. You're telling me that I could opt out of the bowl game for my school and still be allowed to play in the Senior Bowl? That's possible?
Oh, well.
I mean,
I think it is.
I think it is, yeah.
That should be against the rules. I'm not a rule guy, obviously, but
why should that be against the rules?
Yeah, because you're going to opt out of playing.
That's a job interview, though.
An extra game for the school, and you're going to still play a game before the draft with the Senior Bowl?
Yeah, that's your job interviews, the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, to hell with that. No.
All right.
Not my football.
Hoke, right? Dunaway down is anti that idea.
Yeah, okay. We got where Dunaway stands on that one.
Yep.
I don't know. There's some guys who are waiting on decisions. You've got 3 receivers that have hit the portal. Not that it's a big deal, but it's a depth thing probably a little bit. So I don't know exactly what kind of team Auburn will have going to the bowl game. What's the motivation there? I think there'll be decent motivation, even depending on who comes back. But I don't know. Bowl games now, with everything going on, bowl games are a complete flip a coin. I mean, unless you're talking about the big time game where you've got a lot on the line and everybody wants to play in it, everything else is guys going pro, guys transferring, what's the motivation? And I have no way to know. I mean, a couple years ago, Auburn, had a bowl game against Minnesota and was completely unmotivated and got stomped. And then the COVID year against Northwestern, they get stomped. Like they haven't had good success over the last years, but I don't know where they're at in terms of, I think all these guys are thinking about what their future is right now. They're not even thinking about bowl practice at the moment.
Yeah. And to be fair, once bowl practice starts, Hoke can get a better grasp on all of this. Probably a bad time for me to ask him that. I should have gone with a basketball question instead of the bowl game, but we got plenty of time to talk about that. All right, Hoke, thank you very much for the time. Always good talking with you.
Appreciate it, guys, as always.
All right, buddy. Take care. Justin Hokanson, part of On3 Sports, Auburn Live, at _J Hokanson on Twitter, and he's with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
And as always, this holiday season, when you're looking for that special ring, diamond, or specialty gift, our friends at Bromberg's are sitting there for you.
Yeah, since 1836, family owned and operated. Make sure you stop into one of those two great locations, Mountain Brook and the Summit. Nothing like giving or getting that silver box from our friends at Bromberg's to check out a vast array of incredible holiday ideas. Go online today. Go to Brombergs.com.
By the way, Penn State's Chop Robinson going to the NFL, projected first-round guy. Florida's Ricky Pearsall, a wide receiver, going to the NFL. And he's going to go. It's going to be always so deep at wide receiver. I mean, you can get good receivers in the third round usually, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so never understand the early exits for receivers unless you're going to be a first-round guy, but there you go.
I mean, you hate to speculate. With Pearsall coming back another year at Florida, that has not been a great product there.
No, he's a good receiver. He's got a lot of upside. He likes to chirp a little bit.
He does.
You take a little sizzle when you bring in Pearsall if he is a guy that you decide to draft. I find it interesting. I find it fascinating that Peyton Thorne is still on the table. I thought that door was slammed.
Well, again, I think you can read between the lines. Hoke is saying that they're going to blame this on Philip Montgomery, that he wasn't getting the development, and maybe Hugh Freeze feels like he can develop into something better.
Maybe wasn't the right play calling.
I guess.
But I mean, in today's NIL,
I know.
Like if you're going to pay millions of dollars to Brian Harsin, first of all, you should have never hired him. But you're going to pay millions of dollars. You got that wrong as a donor. Don't question me when I go out and get my quarterback.
Yeah.
Like if we want to pay Cam Ward $1 million and it doesn't work out, hey, you guys, same thing with swinging and missing on the coach. But if you can get a home run quarterback, why would you not pay Riley Leonard or Cam Ward?
But like you, I had heard, and it's so weird that before the Alabama game, I'd heard all leading into the Alabama game, Auburn's about to do what Texas A&M did a few years ago. The donors are all in. Whatever they need, recruiting, whatever.
Barkley
NIL.
said it last week on the show.
And then Barkley said it on the show. Whatever they need.
Well, I'm starting quarterback. If I'm a whatever they need, we're going to see what we need at quarterback first. I mean, you're not.
And then my buddy flips around on the golf course. He's like, I don't want to be that school. I want us to recruit high school kids and develop them. And I was like, that has not worked for Dabo Swinney. Dabo Swinney's even in the portal now shopping.
Yeah, Ego ×8 said, I get my point, but Burrow was deemed awful after 2018. Thorne isn't Burrow, but guys can improve. Here's what I would say on two things. We never said he was awful. We said he was an average quarterback.
Who, Thorne?
No. Joe Burrow.
Oh, Joe Burrow. No, I thought he was average. Yeah.
But if you have Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you throw them out there with Hugh Freeze's play calling, I think you could have a lot of success with Peyton.
So maybe that's where they spend their portal money, with receivers, and there will be a lot of receivers in the portal.
To be fair, though, you say, well, Alabama hasn't, that Clemson hasn't recruited and developed, but Alabama and Georgia have.
They have. They've recruited.
I mean, you look at the guys they've recruited and developed. That's who's playing quarterback for them right now.
Yep.
And they haven't really – Kirby has not been out in the portal fishing for quarterback. Nick Saban took Tyler Buckner, but that's one of the rare ones, right?
Yeah, but they've had no problem playing the portal game, though, right?
No, not at all. I'm just saying not at quarterback.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas hasn't really recruited and developed. Now, Washington's in the playoffs right now. Texas has recruited and developed. Washington's in the playoffs right now. And I say that, Quinn Ewers did transfer in from Ohio State.
He did.
And Washington's playing Penix from Indiana. I was going to point that one out.
Transferred in.
Yeah, so, I mean, you can win it both ways.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can just immediately flush the old recruit and develop. Alabama and Georgia are doing that.
As I said, even Dabo Swinney is now shopping. He's coming off his stance of, I'm not going to do it that way. All right, trash is coming up on the other side. This hour always brought to you by Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling and the crew, they brine that chicken overnight. They cook it to order. So many great sides. Just a great destination lunch or dinner place. Perfect for a date night. This is the next round. Swing by Champy'sChicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
What would happen if Santa came down your chimney and discovered fire damage in your home? What if he came down the chimney and discovered a wet floor? Santa's elves can't clean it up. You would have a lot of unhappy children Christmas morning. If that happens, contact DryTech Water Restoration immediately and make sure your children have a Merry Christmas. DryTech can clean up the mess and get in touch with your insurance company. Call DryTech 205-637-0143 and make sure your holidays are safe and happy. Happy holidays to all from DryTech Water Restoration. Want more of The Next Round? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters, it's the will to prepare to win." Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that's right for you. Stop by one of the 7 Central Alabama locations today or give them a call at 1-855-4-BRYANT to begin preparing for your financial future today. You'll find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about. Bryant Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
It's time to start thinking about employee holiday gifts. Consider getting your hardworking guys a pair of Red Wing boots. Each day, your employees are on the job site helping your company succeed, so reward them with comfort at its best. The Red Wing mobile shoe truck can visit your shop and fit your employees with a great selection of boots. Or Red Wing gift cards can be purchased at your local Red Wing store, available in all amounts. Whichever program you choose, your employees will appreciate the quality, service, and selection from Red Wing shoes, and they'll also be thankful they have such a great boss. Reward your employees this holiday season with Red Wing shoes.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Back with you on the Next Round. Bobby's 1,000% right, and I don't pay enough attention to recruiting to know about the recruiting classes as we approach signing day 2 weeks from today. They don't have to go to the portal to get receivers. Cam Coleman, 5-star wide receiver, committed to Auburn. Perry Thompson, 5-star wide receiver, committed to Auburn. Bryce Kane, 4-star wide receiver, committed to Auburn. They're riddled throughout
really
this whole
good players, but they're all young.
Recruited throughout this whole class, those type of receivers there. But they're high schoolers.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you want somebody that comes game ready, you could potentially get that out of the portal. You can also miss.
Yeah, I think receiving and running back are the 2 easiest positions to play immediately out of high school.
Maybe so.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you.
Yeah.
But I remember, Luke and Bill saying, hey, Bama, Kansas State bowl practice, Malik Benson was the one guy they couldn't cover. I expected a lot out of Malik Benson this year, and he hasn't been bad, but he's not been Alabama's leading receiver by any stretch.
Shows up right when you need him, man.
Maybe.
Everybody's talking about potential for guys like Peyton Thorne and, getting somebody out of that quarterback room, but why would you not go with a proven commodity?
Well, if you can get that. And, Bobby also pointed out $1.5 million to Riley Leonard doesn't guarantee that he'll be successful. But you've seen Riley Leonard have success.
Yeah.
Can it translate to doing it in the SEC and at Auburn? Our show being brought to you in part by our friends at Floribama, running a little late for trash. We'll get to that in just a second. Tell us about Floribama.
So we will be out there on Friday and Saturday. Make sure you join us because they're having their annual Santa Drop, which is an awesome event. We will be live on Saturday before Army-Navy, doing the pre-show from 11:30, I think, to 12:30. Is that right, Brown?
That's what we're looking at right now, yep.
But a lot of things going on at Floribama this weekend, including New Year's Eve. And you need to get your tickets early because they are going to sell out. They will go on sale on Christmas Day. They will go through December 31st. $80 a ticket. All you can eat dinner buffet from 6 to 11 p.m. Breakfast buffet to begin serving at midnight. Free champagne split. Party favors, live music on all 3 stages. For more information, floribama.com/New Year's Eve.
Denny Lane passes away, rock star, part of the Moody Blues. That's old rock and roll. Not a big Moody Blues guy.
I like some Moody's Blues Tuesday afternoon. But another big death today, Ralph Cirilla from the Howard Stern Show died.
Who is that?
Wow. He's young.
He had, I think, said they just announced it on the show today. I have not listened in forever, but I saw on Reddit that he passed. They spent the whole show talking about him. He had health issues they did not go into.
He's got to be early 50s.
No, I would say he's in his 60s.
What did he do? Was he just a character?
He was his fashion designer. He
okay.
clothed Howard, but he's also called the show every day and would do the laser pointer with girls naked and tell what's wrong with their bodies.
Oh my God!
Yeah, you think we're judgmental?
Yeah.
That guy was next level.
Craig Kimbrell looks like he's going to sign with the Orioles. And
how many teams is that for him?
And your boy Dave Roberts at the baseball meetings in Nashville yesterday.
Commenting on Shohei?
Committed the old oops there. He got asked a question. He says, it was a direct question. I'm not going to lie to you. Yes, we have talked with him. As soon as he finishes the interview, he picks up his phone and had what, according to USA Today, was a stern text message about no comments on Ohtani. And then they were seen gathering outside the door with several Dodgers officials trying to put out the fire.
Well, I would say that Ohtani would be much more important than Dave Roberts.
Yeah,
fire him, get Ohtani,
right? There's a little bit of that in Japanese culture, right? Dave Roberts takes one for the team there and throws a blade through his stomach, and
yeah, the old samurai.
I apologize.
Seems a bit severe, but okay.
It could be. Let's do trash. Hit it, Rockstar.
So, what was your inspiration for tonight? Be honest with me and go into detail.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Hey, are you a veteran looking for a VA loan? Mortgage Right has been advocating for veterans since their company began. As a veteran-owned, operated company committed to your well-being, they can help you find the best terms available, guide you through every step of the process. As a veteran-owned, operated company, they understand the difference between working with someone who gets it and someone who doesn't. They've made it their mission to simplify the VA loan. Go online. You can apply today, mortgageright.com/TNR, or call 205-815-9200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. We start first. Foreigner on their farewell tour. Styx and John Waite announced the Renegades and Jukebox Hero Tour. Show's going to happen in the United States next June, July, and August. And the tour will make a stop right here in Alabama, August 17th in Huntsville.
Does Lou Graham still have it, Rockstar?
He's not singing with them anymore.
Yeah.
Well, Foreigner has why would I go see Foreigner?
They got that young buck in the glasses in the picture.
Yeah, well, we saw, because I wanted to go see him at the concert hall last year.
Foreigner?
And it was on a Wednesday night. And Rocky pulled a YouTube video of him. I mean, he sounds just like Lou Graham.
So this guy sounds like Lou Graham, the guy in the red jacket?
I think it's the guy in the red
Granddad?
jacket.
They went the
no,
way.
I think that's Mick Jones, the only original member.
Right.
They went the route of Journey, right? They tried to find someone who was really good at karaoke and try to sound just like the guy.
Yeah, I got no desire to see Styx or John Waite, but Foreigner's a guilty pleasure.
Lou Graham's got one of the more unique voices.
Yeah, he's got an amazing voice.
Yeah.
So Journey part of this tour?
No, Foreigner, Styx, and John Waite.
I thought you said Journey there at one
Is
point.
Aerosmith
too.
play with them this tour?
Well, I thought Journey used the word Journey. Maybe I don't know.
Renegades
you don't like
and Jukebox Hero.
You don't like Styx, do you?
I do not like Styx. I liked him as a kid.
Do you like Styx?
I liked him at one point.
I got a couple songs of theirs I like.
Too Much Time on My Hands. Is that them?
That is
Is.
Styx.
Renegade.
Let Me Down. Don't Let Me Down. Is that Styx?
Don't Let Me Down is not.
Mr. Roboto.
Don't Let Me Down is ELO.
I hated Mr. Roboto too.
I liked Mr. Roboto as a kid. I thought
never
it was
liked
unique. It's awful now.
Come Sail Away. I like that one.
Oh yeah.
That was Dunaway's prom song.
It was not. It was my freshman year. Senior Susan Duran, huge crush on her. She was a senior, and that was their senior class song, and so they sang it at their graduation, and I still tear up thinking about it. Wow.
I showed Rockstar this video once. Tommy Shaw, who is from Montgomery, right, Rockstar?
Yeah.
Member of Styx, was helping raise money for some arts school, and he let this choir, like this student choir, back him for some of Styx songs, and it's actually really good.
Oh, he did, because we played it on the show one time. He did Damn Yankees, high enough.
Yeah, high enough. Yeah.
That's the only time I saw Tommy Shaw in concert was with
the damn Yankees. Yeah.
Yeah. This is our stupid award today. 62-year-old woman attempted to shoplift from a Walmart in Livingston County, Michigan during a Shop with a Cop event on Saturday, December 2nd.
That's what I call bad timing.
Now,
or they'll never expect it now.
That's a good point.
You wouldn't think they would. There were 75 police officers from different agencies present at the event. According to a press release, the event gives area children, through donations from local businesses, an opportunity to partner up with a police officer and shop for themselves and families for the holidays. Walmart staff notified a Michigan State police trooper who was participating in the event. Woman was attempting to steal $727 worth of merchandise. Trooper followed the woman out to her vehicle, which was parked next to all the patrol vehicles. And that's when they arrested her, and they took her to Livingston County Jail.
She might as well just have stolen a police car.
There's plenty of them in the lot. And they got to keep them running, too.
They usually do.
Now, you don't get very far in that thing.
Like if you ever go to a meet and 3 at lunchtime in the South, the sheriffs will pull in, they keep their cars running, and they roll in there and eat a little meet and 3.
I've always thought that was an interesting deal. They have to do that. Like, it doesn't take me that long to crank my car and get going. I mean, I assume that's the thought behind it, right? Is we want them to be out as quick as possible. But
I guess you want the engine warmed up so you can just get after it.
So you can drop the hammer, maybe.
After working into the early morning hours, a woman who asked not to be identified said her husband insisted he meet her outside of their apartment in Northwest D.C. and go park the car. She went on to say, quote, as soon as he parked the car, 2 masked gentlemen came up to him armed. They robbed him, took everything he had in his pockets, took the keys to my truck, got in, pulled off. She said one of them approached on foot. The other was in a black BMW, both of them armed with guns. She said the robbers were bold, taking her husband's phone, but then they gave it back because the quote was, they looked at the phone and said, oh, this is an Android. Didn't want it.
Fighting words up here. Fighting words here at Double Down Media.
The old green text bubble people.
Yeah. And we got people that are passionate about having their Androids, people that are passionate about having their iPhones. What it does, I wish they could come to some sort of agreement because
on the group chat.
The group text are a mess because of the 2 different phones.
Let's clean that up in 2024. By the way.
It's not really up to us.
Yeah, I don't think they want to.
No, just let's narrow down our group text.
Well, I mean, but
label them.
There are different. You can't label the ones that involve the 2 different types of phones.
And sometimes
That's
the group text won't go through. I was Android, Apple, Android, back to Apple. I hate Apple, though.
Yeah, I think we're 11-2 up here. 11-2 split. Am I right about that?
But some people,
is number 12 an Android?
That's 3.
There's 3. There's 3 Androids.
Okay, so it's 10-3. I don't know Tyler's phone. Is Tyler?
Yeah, he's Android. Yeah.
Okay, so
it's 10-3.
Didn't mean to out you, Tyler. I apologize.
And there are some group texts that are all Apple, and that one's easy to name. We can put a fun picture on it or whatever we want to do. And then some involve the Android. You can't name those. So it's tough, man.
So this is a headline we probably will never see again. Gunfire erupted after golden shower.
Wow. And same show, a golden corral and a golden shower.
Now, it seemed like a straightforward argument. I give you $300. You urinate on me in a bathroom.
Straightforward.
I would say
it went a little different, though.
$300?
While I love how they phrase this. While the pay-for-spray arrangement appears to have gone as planned inside room 140 at the Days Inn,
remind me not to get room 140.
66-year-old man who paid the female provider fired a shot at the woman's Nissan Rogue as she drove away. Here's how it went down. She looks a little like Beetlejuice, speaking of Howard Stern.
A little bit, yep. That's
I lift about 500 pounds.
It's not necessarily a
if you were
compliment.
to dig a 6-foot hole, how deep would you be digging? About 3 feet.
Who, me?
Okay, so the gunman, David Butt, 66, apparently believed that Brittany Absadou, 34 right here, had swiped his wallet after she finished urinating on him while he laid in the tub. Now,
you urinate at me and then you insult me?
According to a probable cause statement, both Butts and Brittany there, 34, in separate police interviews confirmed the terms of their Days Inn golden shower 2 weeks ago. Now, Brittany said she was parked outside eating potato chips when Butts confronted her.
And drinking a lot of water.
Fired a single bullet, leaving a hole in the passenger side door, while Butts said that he feared that she may have been reaching for a weapon while inside of her car. He, quote, didn't recall shooting his gun.
I don't remember.
He was charged with multiple assault counts, reckless endangerment, and patronizing a prostitute. Doesn't say she was charged with anything.
Is that technically prostitution?
That is considered a sexual act.
Yeah.
That's considered a sexual act?
I would more go public lewdness. I guess it went in the public.
Yeah. I would imagine urinating on someone is a first-degree felony, not a second-degree felony.
Yeah, I don't want the felony.
I thought you were going to tell me, first of all, weird fetish for a guy last name Butts.
Yeah,
I thought he'd go
thing.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
Secondly, I thought you were going to tell me he was upset that she had an asparagus last night.
Guy does stink after asparagus.
Ruining the whole experience for him.
Or honey smacks.
Man, I would
Oh,
say
really?
Oh, my God.
Hey, to each their own, but there are some weird people out there.
Yeah, I think so, Lance.
I mean, the foot thing I understand. That one I'm trying to.
I really don't either.
As you were reading it, I was like, I don't understand what's happening here.
Just the transaction itself. She's a prostitute. I approached her and all right, what do you want? All right, this may be a little weird. I'm going to get this a lot.
Yeah, I know you're a prostitute.
Peed on. Oh, that's $300. All right.
All right. I mean,
that's good.
Not only $300, Rex, but you had to rent the room at the Days Inn. I mean,
you made that call. Yolanda, you'll never guess what kind of John I got today.
Yeah.
I got to piss on this MFer.
And honestly, that does seem like a lot. Relatively
Yeah,
speaking. I thought I could get a lot more for $300. I've never done this.
I don't want to haggle about price, but I feel like she took advantage of it.
You can reach around in the Denny's for a lot less than that.
I mean, Pretty Woman for $300, right? I can get Julia Roberts.
Yeah, I don't remember what that rate was there.
Host, actor, and rapper Nick Cannon. What is he best known for?
Nick Cannon?
Yep.
The MTV show.
He does The Masked Singer.
Well, I was just going to say for having a ton of kids.
Yeah, well, he's got a lot of children, yes.
Yeah.
So he is sharing the joys of having 12 children. Now, we're going to have to bring Lunsford in on this. I don't believe this.
Wait, Nick Cannon's only 2 ahead of Greg from Pell City?
I think there's something that's not common about
that. There's a matriarch with the Nelson family there.
There's one with the Nelson family.
Now, during an interview,
Cannon's been firing everywhere else.
With the New York City-based radio show The Breakfast Club, Cannon revealed how much he spends on his trips to Disneyland every year. Now, he went on to say, quote, to move around Disney like I'm probably spending $200,000 a year at Disney. He says he goes once a month, but still, that's $15K every time he goes. You guys believe this?
I'm not surprised. Well, I don't think Nick Cannon does the regular stuff.
Yeah, and I've never been to Disneyland. Has Lunsford ever been to Disneyland?
It's a shithole.
Do you spend as much there as you spend?
It's the same price point, or maybe even more. I think it's universal price point, probably.
My niece works right now for Disney down in Orlando. And they sent her out there for a few weeks just so she could see the other parts of the operation.
How the rest of the world lives.
And the comment was
a little different.
Dirtier.
Oh, it is.
Dirtier.
So it's a dirtier Disney World?
It is.
Hey, I'm Michael Mouse.
Smaller, not as...
Michael Mouse.
It's not as... I don't think Disney's magical. I love the kids get excited and that stuff. But it doesn't have the same buzz.
She says also
it's more sad. Yeah. You know what I think it is?
The walking spaces aren't as wide apart. I mean, it's like...
You know what you've got at Disneyland? You have a ton of locals that go. And so they're still miserable in their day in, day out jobs. Disney World, to me, is more people traveling in.
Yeah, Disneyland's more like Six Flags, right?
It's more like I get 2 days a week with my kid. I'm going to drag them to Disneyland and be miserable.
Yeah, but meanwhile, in Orlando, it's everyone's in vacation mode.
Yeah.
Vacation mindset.
That was the big difference I noticed. And Disneyland's a shithole.
On top of all that.
Yeah. John says the division in America, iPhone 58%, Android 42%.
That's surprising.
I didn't know it was that close.
I was going to say I could believe that.
Why
so
people just don't like Apple?
Yeah. John, crazily, Android wins the Electoral College, though.
They got the right states.
They get the right states right there. It is an election year next year, and it is funny how everyone is. Florida is obviously a swing state, and politicians are defending Florida State, hoping to win over the state of Florida. Is that just enough to push them over?
They're going to go after the NCAA for something the NCAA didn't do.
Our dang 9 electoral votes, just not enough for them to be defending the tie.
If Bama got left out, nobody's coming after it. Yeah.
Adam Silver is on the McAfee show.
Yeah.
And he loses. It's tough for him to lose a pound, but he loses a couple of pounds every month.
Yeah, if he got like real heavy stress about something in the NBA, he'd just disappear.
I mean, he is a skeleton with skin.
Yeah.
Okay, follow me here. Adam Silver is the guy who lands on another planet, and then they pull off the costume, and he's a human underneath. He's an android here.
Right.
But when he goes back onto to the space creature on another planet, he's really a human underneath, and he takes off that costume, and he looks like us.
If I told you he was Feinbaum's brother, would you believe it?
Well, I was going to say Adam Silver looks like somebody that would play Feinbaum in a bad TV movie. Like, he looks almost like him, but you're like, I don't know.
We're going to have to glue the hair on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do have a lot in common, though. Adam Silver has got some big old ears.
Yeah.
Well, I will tell
he
you.
could base jump with those.
He really could.
I will tell you, when you have no hair,
your ears look bigger.
It makes your ears look bigger.
You know, I've never really
I
noticed
did when
it.
I was
You kind
when
of
I
have
was
bigger ears.
sizing up Caillou to you. That's what I pointed out.
Yeah.
Caillou had a disproportional little ear, and you kind of have a Tommy Tuberville slab of meat on the side
across
of
the
head.
board, you got bigger ears. I got a bigger nose, and Lance got bigger lips.
Yep.
I've got a long lobe.
Yeah, you do,
I have
Joe.
a really good lobe.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's good, but it
You
is
should
long.
stretch them. You should do.
put some gauges in.
I guarantee you pierced it in high school, didn't you, with the ice cube?
I've never had a pierced ear.
An ice cube and a paper clip.
I've never had a pierced ear,
Right.
but now that I think about it, Rockstar, I do spend a lot of time doing this, and I wonder if I have stretched them out over the years.
That's probably it. I've got, I got these dimples in my ears that make it look like they were pierced at one point. I've had people think I had my ears pierced because I don't know, it's a weird dimple that's in both of my ears that make it look pierced. Isn't that odd?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard anybody had a dimple in their ear?
Nope.
It's a weird thing about
spiders in the ear.
I never had spiders in my ear that I'm aware of.
That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Buying a home, major milestone in life. Getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with our friends at Mortgage Right, who do mortgages the right way. Call them today, 205-815-9200, or online. You can apply today, mortgageright.com/TNR.
Deion Sanders on the transfer portal. A couple of guys who have hit the portal last night that could be of interest to people. And surprised I haven't heard more outrage about two names in the SEC. All that in the final segment coming up.
Everything Alabama, all the time. Subscribe and set alerts at Roll Tide Pods on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Give the gift of Daniel Moore art this holiday season with the 2024 Crimson and White Fine Art Calendar. This year's calendar features collectors' most beloved Daniel Moore Alabama football moments, from the classic goal line stand to the Saban-era 2nd and 26. Special offer for listeners only. Buy 2 calendars and get 1 free with code HOLIDAY at danielmooreart.com or by calling 1-800-735-2787.
There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with walk-ons.
Are you ready to make this holiday season one to remember? Legacy Credit Union is here to make your dreams come true with their lifestyle loans. Whether you need a little extra cash for gifts or you want to take that unforgettable holiday vacation, Legacy has the right loan for you. With affordable monthly payments, flexible terms, and absolutely no collateral required, Legacy Credit Union is your trusted partner for your stress-free holiday season. Apply in minutes. Go to LegacyCreditUnion.com to get the financial support you need to enjoy the holidays to the fullest. Again, LegacyCreditUnion.com.
Certain restrictions apply. See credit union for details. Federally insured by the NCAA.
This holiday season, give the gift of peace and security to your home with $50 off recurring Wayne's Pest Control Services. As the weather cools down, stop mice, bed bugs, and rodents before they come in. Call 866-WAYNES-1 to gift yourself a safe and pest-free home. Sign up for any recurring service with Wayne's and save $50 off. Don't let mice and rats be uninvited guests to your holiday celebrations. Get a pest-free holiday and save $50 off recurring Wayne's Pest Control Services when you call 866-WAYNES-1.
Start your holiday shopping at Timberline Golf Club. On November 20th, just ahead of Black Friday, you can get gift cards which make the perfect gift. No need to worry about size, color, or returns. Plus, you'll get more bang for your buck with a Timberline gift card. You buy a $100 gift card and receive a 10% bonus, making that gift card $110. Buy a $250 gift card, that's an 18% bonus, making the card worth $295. A $500 gift card gets a 25% bonus, making it worth $625. Get your free money from Timberline.
Back with you. Final segment of the show brought to you by our friends at HydroLive. Before you tell us about HydroLive, the two people I'm surprised we haven't heard more about, Mike Bobo coming off the loss. I didn't love his play calling in that game.
No, I thought the funny thing is they went to another dude that had like a sleeve tat. They're like, Mike Bobo's sitting up in the booth. They had the wrong guy.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
He didn't look like anything like Mike Bobo.
You know, he did a good job this year. You know, you had a first-year starting quarterback after having Stetson for so many reps. And then Bobo comes in, and I thought he did a good job.
I thought they got a little cute a couple times. There was a 3rd and short where, instead of just trying to sneak it and maybe even have a 4th down that you could go for, they tried to go outside. Terrion Arnold read it very well. I think Delp got tripped up by an Alabama defender, couldn't get the block, and they lost yardage on the play. And then the reverse, which ended up being a huge play. When you lose a game by 3, you turn it over deep in your own territory, and Bama gets a field goal out of it.
Yeah, good defensive stand from Georgia just to hold them to a field goal. The other one is, and you folks who are listening in Louisiana or LSU fans, let me know, but has there been any talk of Matt House losing his job at LSU? Because they basically are USC South from what they did. USC had a bad first year under Alex Grinch. They kept him another year. It did not get better the second year. Matt House this year at LSU, horrible defensive year at LSU. And you're going to keep him another year and just hope it gets better next year? I don't know if I've heard any change about Matt House. I thought Brian Kelly, I saw him said, hey, we're going to stick with what we got. But there's Chris down in Louisiana. Kelly said they're starting staff evaluations this week. They just extended Denbrock today.
Well, I saw that. He got 3 years.
He needed that. I mean, that offense was unstoppable this year. What I would say about House is you never really can put a price on loyalty. So obviously he was a handpicked guy from Brian Kelly. So behind the scenes, I mean, they might be best friends. Who knows? The defense was awful. I mean, it wasn't great last year.
Yeah, I don't know. I just expect a lot from LSU's defense every year with the skill they have on that side of the ball.
A defensive guy, so I will trust. You know, the Lincoln Riley offensive guy, and so you bring back Alex Grinch because he's your buddy. I will trust if Brian Kelly does bring back House. Bad look this year, then that's not as unbelievable as Peyton Thorne starting 12 games next year for Auburn.
Rockstar, give me cut 3, Deion Sanders. HydroLive before we get to Deion here.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, all under one roof. 2 locations locally, right here in Birmingham, 1 in Homewood, 1 in Greystone, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., 7 days a week. If you can't make it to HydroLive, guess what? Nurse can come to you. Make sure you mention Next Round at checkout. You're going to save 20% off any of those great services. Gift cards, fantastic stocking stuffer idea. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram at HydroLive Therapy or online hydrolifetherapy.com.
This is a little over a week old, but it's perfect as we get into a little portal discussion from Deion Sanders about loyalty of players and programs.
A kid ain't even faithful to his girlfriend. You think he gonna be faithful to a school? Like, come on, man. Like, that's like an emotional thing. You know, what I wish the NCAA would do, honestly, if you're committed to somewhere, you can't go to no other visits. I wish that would be. Like, if you're committed, that means you're committed. You can't go no other visits. So why would you be committed, but you still letting kids go to other places? That don't make sense. So that means they just playing. They just playing. And one thing about it, we're not an ATM. That's not going to happen here. If you come to Colorado to play football for me and the Colorado Buffaloes because you really want to play football and receive a wonderful education, and all the business stuff is going to be handled on the back end if that's the case. But we are not an ATM. You're not coming here to get rich unless you really come here with a plan to go to the NFL and get your degree. Not to come here and be money bag yo. Okay? Is that a rapper, right?
That is a rapper.
I got that one right.
Look, that seems anti-Deion, and it seems anti of what the players want right now. I get a lot of his points. I get the early analogy. These guys aren't even loyal to their girlfriends. But I'm a little surprised Deion said that.
Me too, especially the ATM part. Well, Michael points out Bo Nix never set foot on the campus in Eugene when he committed to Oregon.
I did get some clarification on how NIL is working at some of the big programs as far as most of these are 2-year deals, and they don't get all the money up front. And if they leave, then they don't get a lot of the money.
They don't get a lot of the money. Rocket Sanders, Arkansas, in the portal. Interest in Rocket Sanders. Got banged up.
He was hurt all year, basically, but that guy's a good running back when healthy.
If you can get him healthy, he could be a Kenneth Walker difference maker going from Wake to Michigan State.
Yeah, you said before the show, boy, you know what you don't get a lot of in the transfer portal is running backs, because most of them, if they got any eligibility, or if they've done it for 3 years, they're going to the NFL if they're any good.
If they're good, they're usually going to the NFL to save the tread on the
but Rocket Sanders would be a good back out of the portal.
Mississippi State wide receiver Xavier Thomas, Auburn fans remember he was over 100 yards receiving against them. He's in the portal today. So, too, is defensive lineman L.T. Overton over at Georgia. I mean, you just know he's a Georgia defensive lineman. He's pretty good into that portal there. So, some SEC guys in the portal that are getting some interest there.
Yeah, I mean – I think it's interesting. Rocket Sanders would be the one, though, of all the ones you mentioned right there, would be the one that would jump out at me. If you could add Rocket Sanders to a team, Lance made a great analogy. It'd be Kenneth Walker-like, where it could completely change a football team.
Yep. And then there's Charlie Baker, who the NCAA president, who's talking again today about his proposed new subdivision in the NCAA, where teams in that new subdivision would have different rules when it comes to NIL, even rosters, even coaches that are counted. They could set their own rules. They could have no limits on this if they want to. He also says, he's referencing 100. Ross Dellinger, who's covering the meeting with Charlie today, says he has referenced about 100 schools in this new year. Yesterday we were projecting it at 70. Now it's closer to 100 schools who would buy into this. So I find this interesting, this from The Athletic. 59 FBS athletic departments spend over $100 million a year on athletics.
Wow.
59 of them. Then it's down to only 32 more spend over $50 million. Everybody else is down around 25 or less million dollars. So you're talking about 59, 100 million or more on athletics, then 32, 50 or more. And one last thing, in the Power 5, student fees make up only 1.8% of the budget for athletics. Comes from out of the student's pocket, tuition, 1.8%. In the non-Power 5, 15% or higher, the athletics is paid for by student fees. The general student tuition, the student fees you pay going to fund the athletics. So very little of Power 5 football and other sports are actually paid for by tuition, the students themselves with student fees.
Yeah, I think it used to be a lot more than that. I think as they've made more money on TV deals, they've dialed some of that back. Because that used to be it was almost the unspoken secret of how much student fees went towards funding athletics.
Even when we started doing a show together on AM 690, you and me, back in the day, I remember Auburn complaining one time that student fees were going up, but the reason why was it was something for athletics back then, and now that's changed.
But it is part of the
money.
student experience too. I mean, you find me an Auburn student or an Alabama student that one of their highlights is going to football games, right?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
So that's what student fees are all about.
But on the top level, the Alabama and Auburn's, very little of that's coming out of the students' pocket, which is good. They're making enough money.
They're making so much on TV now. They should.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, that's the show today. Don't forget overtime coming up next. What's overtime today? Anybody?
Unlocked today.
Unlocked
Brock Huard?
today. A little Brock Huard and LT Unlocked will continue. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to click a link. Nothing. It's queued up, ready to go. We're back with you. Trivia tonight at Odie's, then 9 a.m. Central tomorrow, and then walk-ons at Stadium Trace, and then Floribama this weekend. Until next time, God bless you, and God bless America.
Welcome in. It is time for another edition of Unlocked with Fox's Brock Huard. I'm Lance Tiller from The Next Round. It is on Disrupt the Media. Like, subscribe. Give us that thumbs up. We would appreciate it. It is always brought to you by mybookie.ag. Use that code NEXTROUND. Get that first deposit bonus at mybookie.ag. So we've got a 14 playoff set. We've got 4 Heisman finalists. Let me start, and then we'll back our way into it. Let's start with the Heisman finalist. Look, 3 were obvious, and I think it came down to a game you were at. I think you were there Friday night. When did you go to the Sphere? Did you go Saturday night or Friday night?
I went to the Sphere Saturday night. So, I was in Vegas. I was in Vegas Thursday to Sunday, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, well, we're planning, I told you before we went on, we're planning our West Coast trip. I think we're going to be in Vegas the first night we're out there, then to L.A. for 4 nights, and then a final night in Vegas before we come back home to the great state of Alabama.
With all that, that feels about right. Yeah, I like that trip.
So, that's what I need. Pac-12 championship game, you were there.
Yeah.
Going into the game, it seemed like if Bo Nix played like Bo Nix has played the last couple of months, and Oregon won the game like a lot of people, especially Las Vegas, thought would happen, then Bo Nix would have been probably your Heisman Trophy winner. Instead, Michael Penix in Washington played with the chip on their shoulder. They got up 23 early. Bo did not play his best football. And coming out of that game, Jaden Daniels is a massive favorite. Now I've seen where it looks like Michael Penix could be the runner-up, and then Bo could be number 3. What I don't understand, and I think he's an incredible player, and you've covered him, Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, Roma Dunze, those guys, the seasons were better than Marvin Harrison Jr. Why even have a 4th there? There's no need for it.
No, really, you really don't. And that's nothing against Marvin, but unfortunately, Ohio State, especially offensively, was not nearly as dynamic as they've been in the past. I think that's why Ryan Day probably told Kyle McCord, like, you may want to look for someplace else because I'm not going to guarantee you the spot next year, and we're going to look to upgrade that position and his numbers. I mean, and even his impact and influence over games this season was not what Roma Dunze's was, and you saw that once again on the championship stage. Vegas was incredible, man. The scene was off the hook. And I know that you will enjoy the Rose Bowl, and when you get to the Rose Bowl on that day and on that Monday, it will be – football nirvana, football heaven. Like, it is incredible as any place. Why Herbie loves it. Keith Jackson called it the granddaddy of them all. It is special, but it's not communal like New Orleans is. It's not communal like Vegas is. Right? It's not everybody in the same spot.
It's a pain in the ass. Like we went to Pasadena. Yes. I was blown away. The first time was 2009. Nick Saban's first opportunity for a national championship against Texas. We were going through this really nice neighborhood in Pasadena, and I'm like, I don't even know where we're going. We get there, and we're on a golf course tailgating. It was such a weird, surreal scene. Once we were in there, it was beautiful with the mountains. It was so majestic, but it was just, I had no idea where I was heading, and it was going to be like that.
And there's not really a place like ahead of time. Like, you're not hanging out at the Rose Bowl the days leading up to it. You're not, you're spread out all over. Everybody tries to figure out how and where we're going to stay and how do we all connect and what venues do we go to versus, man, you've got Mandalay Bay and you got all the casinos and you got everything around, around Allegiant Stadium. And you're just rubbing shoulders with the Oregon Ducks and Huskies and everybody that's down there. And, same thing with New Orleans. And I know that Husky fans were bummed and were really thinking after they won Friday night, like, can you imagine, man? It's going to be 91 all over again. It's going to be Michigan and Washington and those colors down in the Rose Bowl and flights were already booked and everything else. And then Alabama had to go and screw everything up and turn over the apple cart. And all of a sudden now we got to figure out ways. And kudos to Alaska Airlines. I think they opened up like 8 new flights that all sold out like that. Big Brother was on my radio show yesterday, and Damon was saying, hey, listen, I know it's not Pasadena. I know it's not the granddaddy of them all, but he was there in 2001 with the Patriots when they beat the Rams, and he was backing up Brady, and everything's walking distance and Bourbon Street.
I was there. Don't remind me. It was a game I never sweated. I think I told you this. You saw U2, which we got to get to this in a minute, on Saturday night. I had an opportunity, the only time the opportunity to see them, halftime of Super Bowl 36, and I decided to get a beer instead. So didn't care anything about that. Watch the Rams as 13.5-point favorites lose. I have been to so many events, so many big events in New Orleans. Just let me tell Husky fans, they are going to have an incredible time because nobody is in a bad mood in New Orleans. It's dirty. It's dank. But, boy, it's got character. And if you like to eat and drink and have a good time, that is the place you want to go. And you're right. The cool thing about it is, like, you can be at a bar and you can be like, I'm going to go take a 30-minute nap, and you're right back at that bar in an hour. You know, in
Yes.
Los Angeles, you know this, man. Like we found out the media hotel is downtown LA instead of Newport this year. And, you know, Newport to Pasadena was like 2 hours. But being in downtown LA and being like on that island for 4 or 5 days, I don't like it.
Yeah, and I don't know the last time you've been to downtown LA. I was there a couple weeks ago. It can be a little rough too. Like it's just not. So yeah, I mean, both have strengths and weaknesses. The games are going to be unbelievable. It's and I'm sure you've spent a ton of time talking about this. We'll get into this, and the committee had an impossible job. I mean, this was the first time. You have teenage daughters, Lance? You have teenage?
I got a 20-year-old daughter now.
20-year-old daughter. So you went through the teenage years, and you remember. That's what I felt like with this committee that night. Like, oh, they're dead. Like just some of those weekends and just some of those moments, some of the dating experience with like, oh my gosh, like it just as a parent, you're like, there's no win here. Like, how are we just going to somehow mitigate this mess? And how?
Well, you're right. It's Alabama's fault though. If Alabama loses to Georgia, this thing is simple. It's airtight. You've got number 1 Georgia,
13-0. I mean, it's 52-0. It's unbelievable.
It's number 1 Georgia playing Florida State in the Sugar, and it is what your Washington fans. They thought it was 2-3, Michigan against Washington. And there really is no argument at that point. Look, did you get the 4 best teams? No, but look, their hands are up. Hey, look, we got 4 power conference undefeated.
That's right. That's exactly right. You would have, honestly, you would have 52-0, which would have never happened, and obviously never happen again as they're going to expand these playoffs. And, well, Alabama had a little something to say with that. Nick Saban and his boys had a little something to say with that. Georgia's injuries, I think, had a little something to say to that, they were not the same team. We talk about Florida State not being the same team. Well, Georgia wasn't the same team over the last few weeks, and certainly as many guys that tried to play at 50% or 60% or whatever some of them were, it wasn't good enough. And Alabama was just on that crescendo, man. They were healthier. They were believing. They were better. And on that Saturday, they got it done and totally, as I said, upset a bunch of fan bases, a bunch of people. And ultimately, though, I don't like it. I mean, if I'm on that committee, I don't know how I look at myself with a 13-0 team. 13-0 in a Power 5 and beat LSU, right? And was 2-0 in the SEC. And then, when an injury happens and guys go down, the rest of the team stepped up and their defense was unbelievable over the last couple of weeks of this season. And in particular against Louisville. And that's what the ultimate team sport's about. Like if someone's down, we got to pick each other up. And they did. And, oh, man, I just feel awful for those guys. And there's no words to console them. There's no, like, oh, you'll feel better eventually. No. And you will always wonder and you will always ask, like, what could have been. And frankly, Lance, if they would have known this then, they probably would have said Jordan Travis and maybe hid that injury and said, hey, I know it looked terrible, but it's just a high ankle, and we're going to, tie it back together and he's going to be ready for, the championship weekend. And if that was the case, maybe they're in. I mean, it's just is a tough deal all the way around.
Fox's Brock Huard. It's unlocked. It is brought to you by lanceslock.com. Jump on board. We've got everything from the NFL. We've got the college football bowls. We'll have a big bowl package for you. College basketball, NBA. Go to lanceslock.com. There's a free play every single day. So Washington sitting at 13-0. I've probably seen 7 or 8 full games of Washington football. And I can't believe, and I don't know if it's a local thing. And look, Texas played great football the last couple of weeks against Texas Tech and then what they did against Oklahoma State. But I've got a lot of our listeners and viewers that are like, Washington has no shot. And we've talked about their experience. I saw Texas be really fortunate to get out with a win over Kansas State in a game where Kansas State should have won that game. 1st and goal for the 4. All they got to do is get in. And we're not even talking about Texas. And we've got no controversy in this college football playoff. But I'm trying to tell people, watch out for Washington. They don't lose tight games.
Nope. What, 7-0 in one-score games this year? Michael Penix and Kalen DeBoer have won 20 games in a row over the last year and a half. They just believe and they find a way to win. We spent a lot of time in the Northwest talking about that leading up to the game Friday night. And Herbie came on our show the day of, and that morning, kind and very gracious of him, and said, and my co-host Mike Salk felt this way very strongly, that if this is a tight game, and that was kind of my consensus too, like if they could get this game to the 4th quarter and it was a 1-score game, enormous advantage Huskies. The Ducks had played two of those all year. And one of them felt like last season in Lubbock, Texas, because it was so early in the season. The only other one, the Washington game, and that was it. Those were the only 2 games that the fourth quarter mattered, that possessions mattered, that this critical third down mattered. And for Washington, it was the inverse of that, man. Really, after that Oregon game, it was every single week, and they were different, Lance. And I think that's the key. Like, if it was just the same thing over and over, the same mundane, well, our defense is terrible. Oh, we're going to have to find a way to, score 50. That wasn't the case. They needed 50 at SC, and then they needed a defensive touchdown versus ASU. And they needed the battle, the Forrest Gump, thunderstorm in Corvallis, and a critical third down at the end after their defense forced 3 takeaways. So every one of them was also a little bit different. And, oh, by the way, they got healthy. Right?
Well, and here's another thing that I have not seen yet. When Michael Penix, people are like, he's not playing his best football. When he needs to make a critical throw, he makes a critical throw.
Yes, he does. Yeah, he didn't really miss many of those, other than at the end of the Apple Cup where he threw nearly 2 picks and then took a sack. But his kicker bailed him out. Outside of that, you're absolutely right. At Oregon State, it was a third down to win the game. Throw my little one-on-one back shoulder to Rome. Tie game with Oregon, or down against Oregon in the first matchup. Need to throw a touchdown to Rome Odunze, down the pipe, and with under a minute to go. In this game, a third down and goal. Well, I'll throw it to Quentin Moore, and he'll catch his first touchdown of his career in an unbalanced formation. Oh, you know what? Our defense gives it right up. I'll come back on the next third down, and I'll hit Jalen McMillan, who, by the way, is finally healthy in that third cog in the receiving core. I mean, just
huge.
Yes, it just didn't really matter who and when and what the circumstance was. He delivered. The run game delivered. But I'm telling you, Lance, the difference with their 2 safeties back, Asa Turner, a guy named Cam Fabiculanan, those 2 guys had missed really the final 6 weeks of the season. And to get them back and healthy, settle down the secondary, their big defensive tackle, Tuli Nasanoa, I love saying that name, Tuli Nasanoa, to get him back in the fold, by far their most dominant defensive player. And you could feel it, man. And I'll tell you this as well, being down in Vegas, those bookies and those books and those sports books did the Huskies the biggest service possible.
Yeah,
and
maybe 9.5.
And maybe the Ducks the biggest disservice possible.
They did.
And make those guys 9.5-point underdogs at 12-0, just inflame them. And you certainly felt that.
Yeah, and look, and it affected me at Lance'sLock.com because it's one of those numbers
Lance.
I can't explain.
Lance.
I know.
What did you do, Lance? What did you do?
I played Oregon. I did. I do think Las Vegas is, majority of the time, they're really smart. When they put out a number like this, it does mean something. They completely whiffed on this. And I agree. I do think, and Herb Street pointed this out, like they are playing with a chip on their shoulder. When they went up 20-3, it was like, F you. We already beat you guys. How in the hell are we 9.5-point underdogs?
Right.
So, and that's why I don't discount this team at all. So Washington fans, and you cover it every single day, how confident are they against Texas? And if they do beat Texas, and I know we'll get more into this as the game builds up, if they do beat Texas, who would they rather have, Michigan or Alabama?
Yeah, I think that's a great, probably Michigan. Yeah, just because of stylistically, like closer game.
See, I would just think that they would want the SEC. Hey, look, we've never had this matchup. Let's do it. I guess they did in 16.
Yeah, they had 16.
They didn't go well.
No, and I think there's like 10 dudes on that defense still playing in the league, or it started in the league with Minka and others. So no, I think that they would, and I think frankly that as much as they wanted to go to Pasadena, at least they avoided Bama, or at least they avoided Georgia. So when it came out, like, okay, Texas, we played them in the Alamo Bowl last year, hard fought game, pretty tough game. A lot of the same personnel. I know there was no Bijan, no Roshan last year, but there was Worthy and there was Ewers and there was the O-line and the D-line. And like, okay, yeah, this was a pretty good matchup a season ago, and it will be this time around. What is the feeling? By no means arrogant. I don't think you feel any hubris, but you feel this Kalen DeBoer, like, we got this. And Lance, that was the most telling thing to me, like watching the TV monitors. And it's been this way all season with Kalen. He just has an expression. He's got a posture. He's got a demeanor on that sideline that, like, we're going to win. It's almost as if he knows, like, the end result. And no matter the circumstances, other than yelling at the refs a few times over the course of the season with some calls he didn't love, like, he never, ever flinches. And because of that.
Are you good at reading his face?
I can read his face.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
so I'm going to need to know going into this game where we are on Kalen's poker face, and then if, in fact, they get by Texas, where they are on the national championship. Because I said it, look, I think one of two coaches needs to win the national coach of the year, and that is either Kalen DeBoer or that is Mike Norvell, and maybe kind of a makeup for leaving them out. And I got no problem with it. What he's done with that program completely flipped the script on that. So either one of those guys. But I do think Kalen DeBoer, this is a coaching mismatch. I'll give Sarkisian. You saw him in Washington. Good dude. Great story how he's turned around his life. He is growing as a coach. There is no doubt. But I think right now Kalen DeBoer is a better coach than Sark.
Well, yeah, for Sark to get over this hump, and this was a huge hump this season as they move on into the SEC next year. I mean, you realize he had not had a double-digit win season in the course of his career until this season. He had been kind of 7-win Sark, 8-win Sark, maybe 9-win Sark, 7-win Sark. They never just been able to stabilize over the course of the season, just kind of up and down and up. And there was always a bit of a valley. And this year they got to the mountaintop, man. It wasn't just 10, it wasn't just 11, it was 12, and playing their best ball at the end of the year. So they got an excellent staff. Kwiatkowski's very good defensively. Kyle Flood's an excellent offensive line coach. Sark puts together. I'll say this, Lance, and I would go to bat against anybody with this. If you were to say who are the 5 best, like if I had to send my son, if he was a senior and he was good enough and he had to go play for one of the 5 best play callers, schemers, designers to get the most out of their personnel, Ryan Grubb, Kalen DeBoer, Steve Sarkisian. Like they're on that list. Like they're on the medal stand. Like, Lincoln Riley's up there. I know it's a rough year, but Lincoln is up there. I think Ryan Day over the years has done a very good job. Dan Mullen, in fact, when he was at Florida, I thought did an excellent job of always being QB friendly and getting the very most out of that position. Those two at Texas and Washington do it as well as anybody and have 3.5 weeks to prepare for this one.
Okay, as we transition into the NFL, I'm going to ask you my facetious question of the day. This is Unlocked with Fox's Brock Huard. It is brought to you by our friends at Manscaped. Great stocking stuffers out there. Ton of different items to choose from. Go to manscaped.com. Put in that promo code UNLOCKED. They're going to hook you up at checkout. That is at manscaped.com.
Can I add to that? Can I add to Manscaped, by the way?
Yep,
if you got
please.
a pubescent son or a pubescent son that's got some peach fuzz, that's just really annoys you, but you don't want to say anything because there's that awkward stage of kind of puberty, and they're already a little, insecure and already maybe have a little bit of pimples popping up, and they got girls looking at them and everything. And you look over in the car when you take them to school, and they got that little awkward peach fuzz.
Yep,
that Manscaped is a home run.
Yeah,
I mean, home run.
My little guy is 16, Brock, and he has got a full beard.
That ain't a little guy anymore.
Yeah, I know. And he's 6 feet 205. Like he's doing pull-ups all the time at the house. My buddies come over, they're like, this guy wants to be a bouncer. I don't know what's going on. So anyway, he has used Manscaped as well. But here's my facetious question of the day for you. So Monday Night Football, by the way, lanceslog.com, we had the Bengals getting 10.5 points, winning the game outright. And I played a player prop, the over 61.5 Jamar Chase total yards. Very easy winner there. And I told people, I've got a feeling Jake Browning's going to have a really good game. Yep. And you saw this guy at Washington, got a ton of reps there, took him to a college football playoff. The way he played last night, here is my question. It's a little facetious. Who gets more starts in the NFL next year, Michael Penix Jr. or former Husky Jake Browning?
Good question. As much as we see QBs drafted the first and second round playing, I'm going to probably lean on Penix. Yeah, just because Browning's going to fight the same battle he's always fought. He's short, he's unathletic, doesn't have a big arm, he's accurate, and he's got great decision making. So he's going to stick around this league for 10 or 12 years, like guys like him tend to do. I mean, Case Keenum kind of checked every one of those same boxes as well. And heck, I think Case is still playing somewhere. Who was the little guy out of Missouri? Chase Daniel, same thing.
Have you seen Chase Daniel's career earnings?
It's unbelievable.
I think it was like $96 million or something.
It's like Manscaped, net profit in a year. It's unbelievable. But Jake's that way. Like he's just not going to. There's not going to be somebody, no matter what he does over the final 4 or 5. It's like, oh yeah, that's my guy. I'm going to invest in that guy. But he's going to be somebody's guy as a backup for a long time, and maybe he's going to run with this 4 or 5 games and show like, hey man, I'm exactly the guy for Joe Burrow, who's gotten beat up and not finished a couple seasons here because the dude is accurate. I mean, go back and look, Lance. I think in high school at Folsom High School, he threw for like 15,000 yards. At UW, he's the all-time record holder, like 13,000 yards. Like, you don't do that unless you can throw accurately and with great decision-making. He does both of them, and super proud to see him perform last night.
Well, after Burrow went down, we wrote the Bengals off. And look, it's probably still a huge hill to climb, but they're at 6-6 right now. And if Jacksonville, as a 10.5-point favorite on Monday night, would have won that game, they would be right now your 1 seed at 9-3. But since they lost that, you've got Miami and Baltimore sitting at 1-2. This AFC, it's not playing out like I thought it would. You and I both like the Ravens going into the season. I hope they completely shit the bed this weekend against my Rams. Probably won't happen coming off a bye. But this AFC, I mean, like, Buffalo's been great, and then they've been bad, and quarterbacks can't stay healthy. I don't know what to make of the AFC right now.
No, I hear kind of Tom Brady's words from just a couple weeks ago talking about the overall play, right? And when you don't have time on task and you don't work in the off seasons and you limit all of this contact and you limit anything in preseason and you don't play preseason games, like, in what world do we think that's going to be good for the product? Like, it's a college football right now, Lance. Like, it is totally unsustainable. What's going on in this model, and 1,500 kids in the portal, and a few of them going to be making 7 figures, and a bunch of them going to be making nothing. And
but can I make a point, and you tell me if you agree? So with college football, I think one of the reasons the games have been so great the last couple of years is because quarterback play has been outstanding. Like, you've got so much experience now at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I think one of the reasons the NFL has been a little diluted this year, and we've seen some really clunker games, is because so many backup quarterbacks are actually starting.
And you got so many backup quarterbacks starting because so many starting quarterbacks have been knocked out because so many offensive lines can't block these defensive lines of today. I mean, we could feel this coming like 10, 20 years ago, right? Like, it was even then. It was like the Bears in the 80s. And, we've seen the Ravens, and then we saw the Buccaneers. And, we've seen elite pass rush teams, but it was kind of cyclical. And then you find kind of answers to it, or they graduate on or retire on. But now, just cumulatively, like over the course of the 32 teams, and there's a tiny little microcosm. And I remember visiting you a couple years ago in Birmingham, covering the USFL. Like, if that's a little like trial balloon, if that's a little bit of a minor leagues, if that's a little bit of kind of a showcase of what is and isn't personnel wise, well, it's crystal clear. There are a lot of dudes on the NFL, like, or on the defensive line, that are like right near NFL level or get to the NFL. There ain't many offensive linemen. Like, that's just, the disparity is so great. And you're seeing quarterbacks hammered, even though they're trying to protect them in every way imaginable. Because these O-lines today, you want to talk about the one group. Okay, QBs and receivers, we can go throw. DK Metcalf can go, and he can visit DK and Tyler, and you'll see these NFL dudes do it all the time. Joe Burrow will say, "Hey, Jamar, hey, T, why don't you guys come hang out with me for a week? We'll go to Maui, and we'll go train for a week. We'll get some time on task. We'll get to work, and we'll get to build some continuity and timing." You know who doesn't get to do that? O-lines.
Hey, you see an old Walter Jones pushing an Escalade up a hill.
That's
He's
right.
by himself.
Exactly. Hey, you guys want to come hang out in Huntsville and hang out on the offensive line field for a week and block nobody? Like, no, there's nothing you can do other than the contact, the training camps, the preseason games, and then they don't even do that anymore. So, yeah, we've got this next CBA will be really, really interesting if this product keeps going this way. If these QBs keep getting beat up and get just injured and can't sustain, like, you know what, maybe we should practice a little bit more in the offseason. And those old heads like Brady in Montana and those guys that talk about, the O-lines they played with and the teams they played with, maybe we should get back to a little bit more of that model.
He is Fox's Brock Huard. It's Unlocked. We do it every week here on Disrupt the Media. Like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up. It is always brought to you by our friends at MyBookie. Use that code NEXTROUND. Get a first deposit bonus at mybookie.ag. When I first saw Brock Purdy playing for Matt Campbell, I was like, damn, this kid's pretty good. And then he really regressed his last couple of years in Ames. And then he goes, they see something, the intangibles, and in a very quarterback-friendly San Francisco system, they take him as Mr. Irrelevant. And now Mr. Irrelevant, 12-week deep, three months into the NFL season, is your MVP favorite. What a story this would be. Look, in the NFL, it's not that they need money. They don't need storylines. But this would be an incredible storyline to go from Mr. Irrelevant to winning the MVP.
Yep, this is twice I mentioned my co-host Salk, so he better be happy if anybody responds to him. But he asked Pete Carroll a few weeks ago, Lance. He's like, "Coach, help me understand this. You guys spend all these hours You spend all this money, all this manpower. You have months from January to February to March to April. You have interviews, you have combines, you have workouts, you have all of this time. And you're telling me that Brock Purdy's Mr. Irrelevant? How's that happen? How do you guys, how does that, how does that work? And, as Pete would say, and I think I would answer right back, like, you see Brock Purdy in street clothes, or as I did in Ames, Iowa, his final year there, Lance, on a Friday workout, you're like, okay, yep, small hands, short arms, like undersized, can't see, not going to be, has to lick his thumb every play to get a grip at the college level. Like, probably not going to transfer real well at the NFL level. And boy, was that wrong, because you just can't measure this. Much like head injuries are so hard to diagnose, so hard to project when you're going to come back from, so hard to figure out, and there's still so much unknown about brain injury. It's the same thing with brain processing. Like, you think you got these tests, you think you could fly them in. I think I told you the story about Brandon Beane there in Buffalo that year. There were 5, first-round QBs, and they thought they figured it out with Josh because he was overwhelming, and they're kind of whiteboard, and they're, they think they've got it figured out, but they still don't. Because to evaluate somebody's time and ability to process in that split second, in that nanosecond, in that second, right, and be able to do that and to see it and to feel it, and he's different. He's different, and you're seeing that played out with Shanahan, the perfect maestro to put him in a position for success.
Yeah, the other day my girlfriend was like, so in Mr. Irrelevant, do they usually do well? And I'm like, no, they usually get a Rolex and a parade, and they get a shot at camp, a little bit of money, and then they get cut. And then you see them in the USFL. And this story is just, because I don't know, you covered the guy in college. He was really good his first couple of years, and then
he was still good. It's just that the bar changed, right? I think I would challenge that a little bit. Maybe the numbers dipped a little, Lance, but I think the expectation was, wow, he's so good. Wow, him and Breece Hall have really elevated. Now maybe they're going to be a playoff team, right? And I think even like one year they started the preseason like top 10. And then if you went and looked at their old linemen and you looked at their guys, you're like, like that.
You know who recruited him though? Nick Saban. Alabama was one of his finalists, and for him to go to Iowa State, I guess he was told, hey, look, you're a work in progress. Like, you're not going to play immediately. And Matt Campbell was probably like, you can win this starting job, day one.
Yes.
But that shows you something, because Nick Saban's one of the best talent evaluators we've ever seen.
He sure is. And he's got one other thing too. And Damon mentioned this. My big brother was at the Thanksgiving game when San Francisco beat Seattle up there, and saw him in person. He's like, give him some credit for being an athlete too. Like, you want to just say, oh, he's tiny, he's little, he can't do any of this. No, to scramble around and to extend plays and to do the things that he's capable to do, to get out of the pocket at the NFL level. And, he's not Lamar Jackson. He's not going to run for 100 yards, but he can create enough. And then that brain is good enough. And then the decision and the accuracy and the timing and all of that stuff, well, as you said, it's got him in a position now as an MVP that nobody on draft day would have ever imagined.
Okay, one final question before I let you go. It's Unlocked. It is brought to you by Lance's Lock. Go to lanceslock.com, get a free play every single day. Fox's Brock Huard. So this weekend, big games for your Seahawks and my Rams. Rams go to Baltimore for a noon kick against a team coming off a bye. They're 7-point underdogs. On the other side, your Seahawks go to San Francisco, where they were embarrassed in Seattle on Thanksgiving. Either one of these teams have a shot at either one of those teams.
Well, I'm hoping the Rams get beat up, beat to heck. The Ravens, healthy, off of a bye. I know there's no Andrew, so just beat the tar out of those Rams, please. Knock Stafford out, end their season, so my Seahawks have some semblance of a chance to make the playoffs. And then, do you know this number, Lance? 14. I think this is Pete's 14th year in Seattle. Do you know how many times in 14 years he's lost 4 in a row?
No, I would say 0.
It would be 0.
Yeah.
Even in 10 and 11 with Charlie Whitehurst and Hasselback and T-Jack, and before Russell came on the scene in 12, he has never lost 4 games in a row.
Hey, literally, if they were playing anybody but San Francisco, I would say I feel good about this, but San Francisco has become a juggernaut.
Yes, and Pete can't beat Kyle, and Shanahan's owned him the last 4. When healthy, it's not been competitive. Sean McVay has owned Pete, right, 10-5, and owned him recently, and that's a lot of the scuttlebutt in Seattle. Say, hold on a second, where is this thing going? Like a lot of the young talent, right? Love the draft class of the last 2 years, but where is this thing really headed? You're 12-point underdogs. Pete Carroll's team is a 12-point underdog in December.
That is massive.
Teams I think it's the second biggest since 2011 when they went to Pittsburgh and got punched in the face. And the GM Schneider came out of that game and said, never again. Never will we be physically humiliated the way we were. We just could not even compete. So this is the second biggest spread in over a decade. Trying to fend off a 4-game losing streak, I don't think they've got a chance. I think San Francisco, as you said, is playing now for the number 1 seed, has closed the gap, knows that Philadelphia is not playing their best ball, has got a great shot if they go undefeated down the stretch to be the number 1 seed, and they are the best team going in the league right now.
Okay, we're going to have a few weeks to get more into the Sugar Bowl and the Rose Bowl and these matchups as we come to you here on Disrupt the Media Unlocked with Fox's Brock Huard. But final thing as we go out, if Washington wins and Alabama wins, we all have to be in Houston with a lot of passing time wine. So you got to tell Damon, I know he's going to be there to see his Washington Huskies play for a national championship. I know you'll be there. We need some passing time wine.
We can do that. Oh, we can absolutely arrange that. Now,
we'll be broadcasting live for probably a week. Can you and Damon come by and jump on set with us?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
100%. Now you got to tell me, just as importantly, the Grizz and Furman Friday night in Missoula. You got a line? You got a bead yet? Can you let me know?
Well, there will be, but they set the college basketball numbers because there's such a massive
I'm not talking basketball. I'm talking FCS quarterfinal football.
Yeah.
I'm
Hold
not
on.
talking basketball.
Okay.
I'm not talking any of that random. No. I'm talking right now. Baby, it is the FCS quarterfinals. We're down to the final 8. The Grizz were the 2 seed coming in. They throttled Delaware. The Delaware QB said after the game, hey, we played at Penn State this year. That was nothing compared to Grizzly Stadium. What I just endured in this place, unbelievable noise and hostility and passion. So Furman, I don't even know their nickname. You're Furman.
The Paladins.
The Paladins are making the cross-country trip to Missoula Friday night, ESPN2. Yeah, a little bead? Can I get a little Lance Locke? Can I get a little bet? Can I get a little something? What are you feeling?
Oh, I'm looking here. Damn, Montana won 49-19 over Delaware, who's going to the FBS.
Oh, yeah. Stomped them. Just stomped them.
My gosh. I'll find a number for you and I'll send it to you. I would. Oh, damn. Montana's a number 2 seed?
Yes,
they're going to be favored. They're going to be a heavy favorite. Is it going to be snowing? Let me guess. Missoula, it'll be snowing.
Well, it was snowing last Saturday night. No, it's going to be like 18 degrees. So I'm going to try to. We're making the trip. My wife and I are heading up, watch our girls play some basketball Wednesday, Saturday, and that'll be Friday night. So you just let me know, okay? Between now and then,
I will.
That is the play.
You live a great life, though. By the way, I mean, not only do we get to do what we do for a living, but you to be able to go to the incredible state of Montana to watch your daughters play basketball and just hang out with the wife. That's incredible.
It's gonna be a good time.
Does she drink passing time?
She likes the Chardonnay. Yeah,
okay.
She likes a little Chardonnay from passing time. So yeah.
Okay. Well, look, man. Whatever you're doing this weekend, I don't know. Do you even have a game this weekend? No, you're going to Missoula.
Nope.
Okay.
I got the Grizz on Friday night. We'll be watching them versus Furman. Got my girls Saturday. No, Hayes in the barn for me. Holiday Bowl is the only Fox Bowl, and Joel and Gus will have that. So barring sickness or an NFL possibility, nope, I will be just watching a ton of ball, getting ready, and yeah, rooting for the Huskies and the Tide so we can meet in Houston, which would be pretty darn fun.
Yeah, it would be awesome. I will send you that number in a little bit. The Paladins taking on the Grizz. But have a wonderful weekend in Montana, and we'll talk to you soon.
Always a blast. Appreciate it, Lance.